Bar Card Friday.
Woo!
Brought to you by Keg and Bottle, 10 locations around San Diego. And we're getting the party started with a little energy drink. So we're drinking the mixers first, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, that's good. I needed that. I needed that after the snooze. That was the Steelers-Patriots game last night. Now,
how about those punters?
Dude,
15.
Hold on.
Hold
on. The first half was kind of okay. I mean, and there was some happenings going on. Well, maybe it's just the first half because the Patriots were actually scoring points, which I wasn't used to. But I mean, Bailey Zappi on fire. I mean, in fuego. Half one.
Yeah, first half, 3 touchdown passes, Patriots moving the ball at will. It looked like it was going to be one of those trademark games where, wow, we did not expect this to happen, but the Patriots pounded the Steelers 40-7, right? But it didn't really work out that way. All the scoring dried up for New England in the second half. The Steelers made a late game charge. Mitchell Trubisky had a decent second half, scoring 1 on the ground himself, 1 through the air. Wasn't enough. Steelers drop to, I know they're still stuck at 7. How many losses do they have?
6.
7-6
They were 7-5 coming in because TD needs the Steelers to win.
Yeah, that sucked.
Dude, that Pocky one chip challenge, that's in the very near future. It's week 14, boys.
I know. We're getting close. Last night was good for you and me, Rich.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, I wasn't even keeping score on that, like for me personally, but I guess, anytime it's bad for someone else, it might be good for me.
I was keeping score. I was definitely keeping score on that one. And I'm like, you have to be kidding me. I mean, catch some of these damn balls, which the Pittsburgh Steelers struggled in the second half. There were several passes that should have been caught that were not caught.
Yeah.
And then, into the game, pass interference, yay or nay?
I'm fine with it not being called.
Yeah.
It's the same logic I had with the Chiefs game where Chiefs fans feel like they got hosed, but I'm like, you can't be deciding games with bang calls on pass interference. Like, I understand it in the first half if you're mandated by the league, but you cannot decide games on a play that is bang in the second half.
I agree. I don't want a game decided because of a penalty. I do not want that. However, I also don't think that if that is pass interference in quarter 2, why isn't it pass interference in quarter 4?
Okay, so that's where I come down on this issue, and I always have. Like they say when you're a parent, what you need to be is consistent. If we're going to look at officiating in the NFL from an appropriate aspect, basically they're the parents on the football field. The coaches are on the sideline. They can't really help you, so the parenting happens in between the white lines. And so it's, whatever. If it's a hold or if it's a defensive hold or if it's a neutral zone infraction or if it's something else, like it's their job to call them out on their stuff. As long as it's consistent, I have no problem with it.
Here was my thing, though. If the Steelers, so they're at 3rd and 2 and 4th and 2 and back-to-back plays. Both times they made it passing plays with Mitch Trubisky being the guy. Why not hand off on 3rd down or hand off on 4th down? But if you're not going to hand off on 3rd down, then you have to on 4th down. Like 3rd and 2 is enough to, when you know you're in 4-down territory, try to run up the middle and get a yard or 2 yards to make it to where either A, 4th down doesn't matter, or B, 4th down is now 4th and inches instead of 4th and 2.
Oh, yeah.
But instead, the Steelers decide to throw twice in a row with a quarterback who's playing in his first game of the year.
And I mean, they were looking for a call on that
That's
4th
exactly,
down play.
like,
They're just looking for a call. Why would you throw
35 yards down the field with Mitch Trubisky being your quarterback unless you're trying to get a pass interference?
Yeah, unless, there's the train of thought of course, they're thinking this is going to be run. Said there's no way they're thinking they're going for the whole thing here. So can someone get open? It didn't work. So now you look for the flag. It was close to me. I think either way, I would probably be okay with the no call or a call. Maybe I lean on that was probably pass interference. In quarter number 2, that's a flag thrown.
So we look at the tail of the tape for Bailey Zappi, 3 touchdowns, over 240 yards, or I think right on the nose, actually, 240 on the nose.
Like 160 of that was first half.
Yeah. Well, right. 1 interception. So there was a turnover there.
Without TJ Watt.
Yeah, well, right.
So it's like,
okay.
yeah, that's the thing. TJ Watt goes out early in that game because literally Zeke Elliott dropped a UFC move on him and he got kneed in the head. But then in the second half, TJ Watt returns. And when he returns, all of a sudden Bailey Zappi can't play quarterback anymore.
I look at it this way though. The Steelers, or excuse me, the Patriots have a hard decision to make because Mac Jones is the guy you drafted in the first round. So if Belichick is worried about his job at all, which I don't think he is, do you try to put a silk hat on a pig and you dress it up so that Mac Jones still gets some starts and looks competent down the stretch of the season, and you find a way to trade him to a willing trade partner, a la the San Francisco 49ers to the Dallas Cowboys with their high draft pick with Trey Lance when he didn't work out after year 3? Do you do that with Mac Jones? That's the question. They both got drafted in the same draft. Mac Jones playing an additional year with the Patriots. Trey Lance gets traded for a 4th rounder to the Cowboys. Do you try to goose him up, try to get him some numbers, try to show people he can still play at this league level? Because rewind back to his rookie season, he looked like he could ball out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's regressed steeply. So do you stick with Zappi or do you go back to Mac Jones at some point?
I think you have to stick with Zappi now because here's the problem with Mac Jones is even if you're able to put 2 or 3 good games at the end of the year on film for him, the teams have seen enough. And I think they've seen enough personality-wise, even more so than the play on the field. And the play on the field has regressed, but the personality also is not great with Mac Jones. Like, teams keep an eye on that stuff. And the cheap shots that he's given, you can go to Twitter right now and just type in Mac Jones penis shots, and you'll see him hitting dudes in the junk.
Hang on a second. If you type that into
Mac Jones,
if you type that into a Twitter or Google search, you may get more than you bargained for. I'm just warning because who knows what he was up to. Oh boy, there you go. Here, show that one to Fletch. This is what you've done.
Well, no, it's fine. You did this. You brought this. Come
Watch
on.
the YouTube camera though, because we will get kicked off.
It's not nudity.
Okay,
no,
Yeah, it's just tidy whitey.
Just well-hung men in boxer briefs. That's all.
Like, I know it's
Wait a
funny and we can joke
wait
about
a
it, but
minute,
NFL
what?
teams do take that stuff into account.
Jesus. Fletch, why would you make us search that?
I'm sorry. I didn't.
Do you want to read this headline?
No, I don't.
Okay, you sure?
Can you please? We don't have the buttons to press. Can you isolate you saying just search Mac Jones penis shots?
Sure.
Thanks.
But Rich, correct me if I'm wrong.
Could that be
Teams
part
take
of our open?
all of that stuff into account, do they not?
They do.
Mac Jones
Okay.
penis shots?
Well, yeah, they do. Well, I mean, when we're talking about him taking elbows and fists,
Back of hands.
back of hands,
Like the fact that we can name 3 different instances is problemsome.
it's a weird look. It's a weird thing. It kind of reminds me, honestly, a little bit of Grayson Allen. Grayson
A
Allen,
lot of it.
who played for Duke. He was a villain of that tournament, playing for Coach K at the time. Got drafted by the Bucks. I think he was drafted by Milwaukee. I can't remember. Maybe the Mavs. I forget. But as soon as he got to the NBA, it was like, oh, no. Yeah, everything we saw at Duke is happening at the professional level now too, except these guys have mortgages and they have children and they will square up. And so Grayson Allen is one of the most hated role players in the NBA as well. And I honestly think it's having an effect on his career because there's something a little off about you from a personality standpoint. Like, can we really trust a guy who in crunch time or when he's temper flares, he's going to get us a 15-yard penalty in Mac Jones, potentially, or with Grayson Allen, get us a technical foul in an end-of-game situation?
Or not to mention, if you're not liked by a couple teams throughout the NFL and you end up landing on one of those teams, there's issues in the locker room. So the NFL, they take everything into account. So it's not just his play on the field that's regressed, but it's also his personality's taken quite a hit. I don't know that you're even going to get the 4th rounder that the Cowboys gave up to the 49ers for Trey Lance, who we haven't seen as much of, right? So the potential is still there for him to be good.
Yeah.
But Mac Jones, I just don't know what you do with him. This might be a release situation.
Sorry, I got distracted here.
What happened? What'd you click
Well,
on?
no, I was getting ready to put something in the bottom of the barrel because I knew there was no way we could get to it. However, technology is reaching a point that that is either we're never going to be able to correct the world from this, or welcome to the future. This is fantastic. AI now has an app. You can take a picture of someone and AI will make them nude.
Oh, dude, yeah. I saw this being advertised on TikTok recently. I may have the creepiest TikTok algorithm on the planet. But this was advertised to me like a lot. They're like, hey, take a picture of your coworker and then AI will undress them. So anyways, Ben, sorry that I've been taking so many pictures of you. Now I might have let the cat out of the bag.
It's called Nudify.
Yeah, Nudify. So
Where do we live right now?
So the problem is, I guess nowadays you can't really pose for a picture, especially by yourself, and feel comfortable about it.
Every photo you're gonna have to do this, like the cover up the Adam and Eve's.
Yeah.
I mean, jail to whoever created this.
I mean, like,
well,
it's free
a
speech.
robot
Is this
created
protected
it.
speech? We don't know.
Grayson Allen, by the way, was drafted by the Bucks. You were right. He now plays for the Phoenix Suns,
Oh, there you go.
and he's also a total D-bag.
We got halftime coming up in just a few seconds here, and then we're going to do our morning monologues. But first, want to talk to you about what you can win today. We have your chance to win a family 4-pack to SeaWorld San Diego's Christmas celebration, where the wonders of the sea meet the joy of Christmas at SeaWorld San Diego. From underwater discoveries to San Diego's largest Christmas tree, Sky Tower, Tree of Lights, experience thrilling rides to Mrs. Claus Christmas Parade, real reindeer, and photos with Santa. Taste heartwarming traditions. Sing along to a stocking full of soul featuring America's Got Talent finalist Brian Cheatham. It's a holiday celebration filled with wondrous moments only at SeaWorld San Diego, November 17th through January 7th. So we got those family 4-pack of tickets coming up in just a little bit. Plus, looking forward, the NBA in-season tournament actually could have worked last night. We'll get to that, but first, this. Well, we were just talking about it. We had NFL action last night, Thursday Night Football. New England Patriots took down the 7-win Pittsburgh Steelers, a final score of 21-18. During the battle of the backups, Bailey Zappi led the first half with 3 touchdowns through the air. Mitchell Trubisky actually roared back in the second half, scoring 2 second-half touchdowns of his own, 1 through the air, 1 on the ground. Patriots able to hold on for the W. They get to 3 wins on the season, still one of the worst records in the NFL. So the NBA hosted their semifinals of their in-season tournament in Las Vegas last night. The Los Angeles Lakers dispatched of the New Orleans Pelicans score of 133-89. LeBron James was the leading scorer. The leading scorer with 30 points.
I'm sorry, what?
Don't Google it.
What?
Nudify. The Indiana Pacers took down the Milwaukee Bucks, final score of 128-119. Tyrese Halliburton, who's played some great basketball, leading scorer for the Pacers, 27 points in the affair. So the final is set in the NBA. It's going to be the Lakers taking on the Pacers for the inaugural NBA Cup. So there you have it, boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all happening Saturday night.
Fired up.
Fired up, Chief.
And didn't the Lakers win by like 40 last night?
They beat the dog
What
out
are we
of the
doing,
Pelicans. Yeah, we'll get to that. We got some thoughts on that game. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Do you guys want to do our morning monologue?
Yeah, let's break it down.
Okay. Who wants to go first here?
No matter to me.
I can tip off.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So Jonas Knox actually started this take earlier this morning, but LeVar interrupted him, as LeVar does sometimes. But I'm going to finish it off for Jonas because I think it's a really good point. So the Cowboys have an opportunity this weekend to really just flip the middle finger to the entire world this weekend, and it's with their game against the Eagles. So Cowboys-Eagles will be playing. Eagles obviously coming off this loss they just took to the 49ers. But if the Eagles lose again, and the Eagles lose to the Cowboys, that's 2 losses in a row to both top NFC contenders. And I think if the world were to watch and the roles were reversed and the Cowboys lose back-to-back games to the Eagles and 49ers, the Cowboys would be considered frauds by everybody. However, I think if the Eagles go in here and lose, everybody's just going to say, oh yeah, but they're the Eagles. They're still Super Bowl contenders. They'll be just fine. So I just think there's a little unfair way the way we look at teams at the top of the NFC right now. And I do think that if the Cowboys go in and beat them, we should be considering the Eagles as a less than the other 2 teams, because losing back-to-back games against the teams that you will be playing in the postseason in games that are as critically as important as they are right now with playoff seeding and bye weeks on the line, I just don't like the takes that we're going to hear Monday morning after the Eagles lose, and everyone's going to be like, yeah, they're fine. They're going to be Super Bowl contenders.
I like that monologue. I'm going to look. I actually think I agree with everything you just said, because I think there's a lot of that goes on between Dak Prescott and Josh Allen. There's a lot of people that think Josh Allen is spoken about unfairly comparatively, and vice versa. I think there are certain times where narratives drive us to believe certain things, and they're just not true when you really look at metrics, stats, or records, in this case, wins and losses.
Well, Bill Barnwell yesterday on the show, he said, look, the Eagles haven't necessarily been good all year. They've just been winning.
Yeah. That's 100% true. Look at the Minnesota Vikings. They were getting by the skin of their teeth, and then they get to the postseason. They face the New York Giants in the wild card round and get the doors blown off them in Minnesota. So, but I will ask this question, though. I mean, Jalen Hurts got this team to a Super Bowl. I think that's the reason why we're giving the Philadelphia Eagles credit here that the Cowboys haven't gotten.
You don't put an asterisk on there?
Well, why?
Because of a quarterback getting injured for the 49ers.
Well, I mean,
I think it's forgotten about.
I mean, look, what do you say? History is written by the victors. And unfortunately, even though Brock Purdy didn't play the majority of that game, and even though I think the game would have looked vastly different with Brock Purdy at quarterback, obviously, I do think that there's a little bit of this. Well, Jalen Hurts got to the promised land. Dak has never been.
And Eagles a year ago were a much better football team than they are right now. Like the way that they were dominating teams on their way to their record. Would they lose one game during the regular season or two? Either one or two. The one lost to the Commanders, and they may have had one other down the road. But the way that they were winning games last year are very different than the way they've been winning games this year.
I completely agree with that. I don't know if I would say the Eagles are a better team than the Cowboys. I think they both have some strengths. They both have some weaknesses. They both have some poor playing history and problems. And I think when we're talking about history and you're trying to compare the Eagles and the Cowboys, one, you have the Cowboys being dubbed America's team. That's right off the get-go. You're almost putting out to the world that this is the team that you're supposed to love because they're America's team. So you have people automatically wanting to tear them down. The other part of that is there has been a number of years, and I mean, we're talking decades, of the Cowboys blowing it. So, I mean, if you look back at how many times Dak Prescott has thrown an interception that has cost them the game, that's why they're immediately called a fraud as soon as something starts to go downward spiral for the Cowboys. There's an automatic, I want to say, not a hatred, but a dislike of the Cowboys because of what the Cowboys have done to people's teams in the past. The Cowboys have a record of winning, and then now that they've had this long stretch of blowing it, it's fun to make fun of the Cowboys. So I think people automatically want to jump on that bandwagon. However, you're right. You are right that if the Cowboys now beat the Eagles drop 2 in a row, even though the Eagles, well, and I guess now they'd be tied for the top record in the league, no one will be calling them frauds. Not yet.
I you know what? It's interesting, and I want to move on to my monologue, but I do want to close by saying, when we're looking at the playoff picture, especially this close to the playoffs, that's what people start projecting towards. And even if the Cowboys beat the Eagles, there's still going to be a lot of people who think, well, when they meet in the postseason, we know what's going to happen. And so, unfair or not,
a lot of people said that about the Eagles-Niners game also.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Oh, 100% true. And we saw how it finished. So I don't know. We'll see when we get there. But I do agree with you. There's narratives that drive conversation in this country overall, but definitely in sports. Okay, here's my monologue for the morning. I'll be quick. Credit where credit's due. Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, is doing something really, really smart. He's trying things. So I've condemned this in-season tournament in the NBA because I think the group stage was really stupid. I thought that it was really, really, how would I describe it? Poorly managed and disorganized. You know, having these playing games on Tuesdays and Fridays throughout the early portion of the regular season, you know, to see who was going to advance, it made zero sense. They should shut down the league for a week and a half. They should have all these games played tournament style. We should all be able to fill out brackets. Everybody would be much happier with a format like that because guess what? The knockout stage has worked. Okay, Monday and Tuesday worked. Last night, if it was a better game between the Lakers and the Pelicans, would have worked. We'll get to all that. But I do want to credit Commissioner Silver for trying things. The Elam ending in the All-Star game, right? Fourth quarter. He's done that for years in the All-Star game. The play-in tournament in the NBA playoff bracket. I don't like it. I've been ardently opposed to it, but at least he's trying something. This play-in tournament, this in-season tournament, like I said, disorganized. I don't like it. I don't like the group stage of it. I like the knockout stage. It needs tweaking, but at least he's doing something. So there is this feeling of, okay, if you have a product that's struggling in the ratings and you don't try anything, you're just going to fade to black at some point. At least he's giving it a shot.
Well,
How about that?
Yeah.
sounds awfully familiar to something. I don't know.
What?
I'm having a hard time remembering how this worked out a couple weeks ago.
And you were like, just give it time. It's going to be great.
No,
All
I
you have to
said-
do is
I
read
said-
this 70 to 104 page
My
article.
words were, it's not fair to judge it right now. It's fair to judge it after the
Oh,
knockout
no.
stage.
I still think it stinks. I still think it stinks. Don't conflate thinking that what they did with this in-season tournament is a good thing. It's not.
Here's my problem with the in-season tournament is if you just shortened the season and made the games worth more, you'd have people have to play.
Well, they'll never do that.
No,
Never,
they won't.
they'll-
I get it.
and so here's my point. Even if it's a bad idea, I just like ideas.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
You know,
I'm just waiting for the in-season tournament to wrap up, and then now the second half of the season is back to load management, and until the very end.
Yeah, no, I get that too.
Rich, everything you just said in your monologue was exactly what you were making fun of me for saying 2 weeks ago.
No.
I word for
Absolutely.
word. I swear, we'll go back and listen to the tape. Dude,
Pull the tape down.
No. Hang on a second. I didn't make fun of you at all for Adam Silver coming up with ideas. I think the execution of this in-season tournament is terrible. It's awful.
I believe the direct quote you guys were making fun of was me saying, at least they're trying something. And that's what you guys were taking such umbrage with.
No, it's the group stage play.
I still take umbrage.
Yeah.
The games that I have watched have been kind of fun, but I still think overall it's a dumb idea.
The biggest problem I have with group stage is nobody knew, including the players, when the group stage was happening.
Yeah, no,
if you're going to play a tournament, your participants need to know they're playing in a tournament.
1,000,000%. My monologue is going back to Juan Soto here, and I need to ask the question: why do San Diego sports keep getting hosed? San Diego sports fans keep getting hosed here. The Yankees, they take Juan Soto from us. I get it. I get what the Padres needed to make a little room on the price tag here of what everything costs. But the Yankees now wanted to twist the knife a little deeper because they said they're in the market for pitching after landing Juan Soto. The most significant addition would be Japanese star Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Nailed
With
it.
the Yankees, they're meeting with him on Monday. The other top free agent they're looking at, Blake Snell.
Yeah.
Blake Snell. Oh, man. Are we being punished because we live in the most beautiful place on earth? Are we hated because we have labeled ourselves America's finest? Like Lizzo says, why men great till they gotta be great? Hashtag truth hurts. I'm sorry. Truth hurts. That's the way it is. This reminds me of my kindergarten class with Mrs. Zapolsky. I had morning kindergarten. Bobby Bean had afternoon kindergarten. We shared a cubby. I had made an Uncle Sam project. We both did. I colored it beautifully. I cut it out perfectly. They did their project before the morning class for some reason. Bobby Bean stole my Uncle Sam.
Is he the Blake Snell in this? What the hell are we talking about?
I'm confused.
Bobby Bean is the rest of America stealing my stuff.
So who's Yamamoto in this one?
I
then?
don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying that Blake Snell is now going to go to the Yankees. The Yankees are going to be Padres 2.0, and then watch, they're going to make it work.
Is Blake Snell doing a Susan B. Anthony project this year?
Yes. You got to pin it all together, all the arms and legs move. Listen, stop trying to pillage our sports teams, rest of America. We got a championship to win.
Yeah.
You got to get out of our way. And Bobby Bean, I will never forget you,
You want
SOB.
to feel a little better?
Yeah,
Blake Snell probably won't go to the Yankees.
I know.
I think he wants to go to Seattle, back to where he's from.
Okay. I mean, I get it. I'm just saying.
He was
I needed that for morning monologue
You nailed
purposes.
it. It was really good.
he was ringing the bell at Washington Huskies games during the end of the college football
He's
season.
been at a bunch of Seahawks games this year.
Yeah.
He's probably going to Seattle.
It feels like they're courting him. And so it feels like they're calling in favors to the athletic department in Washington, or maybe his people are doing it. Maybe Blake Snell is handling all the business, but it feels like the Mariners, if they're smart, they're like, hey, Blake, you're in the area. Do you want to go to the Seahawks game? We already talked to them. We got you field passes, and then you could go up to the booth. You know,
You want to meet the Seahawk?
yeah.
Well,
Is
the
he jacked
Padres,
like Peter the Anteater? But
the Padres spent some time trimming some fat, and we spent some time trimming some fat. But I would say ours was a very positive one. We will see how the San Diego Padres do. But you got to get over to sdfatloss.com if you want to have some weight loss results like we did. 858-665-3211. That's how you get your free consultation today. So it's a free consultation. And by the way, now through December 31st, they're giving you $200 off the program. So if you want to save some money and lose some weight, you need to call right now, 858-665-3211. Talk to Wayne, talk to Miss Chloe, and get your free consultation going today so you can start losing up to 1 pound of fat every single day. And in our cases, it was a lot more than just 1 pound of fat. We did it with no exercise, no counting points, no calories, no prepackaged meals, no hormones, no drugs, no injections, just good old-fashioned dieting. Wayne and Chloe really have it figured out. And we can all legitimately say that this has changed our lives forever.
well, and find a buddy, because I will say this. One of the great motivators of our group here was Fletch, because watching Fletch, I mean, drop. Honestly, when we started, since he was the lightest, I thought he'd lose the least. He lost the most of the three of us. And it was really inspiring watching the scale just continue to tick down for Fletch every morning. And it encourages you. It becomes a little bit of a friendly, healthy competition.
Yeah.
It becomes a little bit of a, oh, geez, he's keeping on top of it. That means I have to work a little harder. So if you have a spouse or a wife, a husband, a aunt, uncle, dad, grandpa, friend that you want to do it with, I'd suggest it, because you'll find your Fletch.
Yeah, or if you want to sign up and then just send us messages. We'll keep tabs on you as well. We'll do it right with you.
And we'll be mean to you.
We
We'll
will
tell
be
you.
so mean.
You need to stay
So
on
mean.
this thing.
We
Yeah,
want to
they
see the
send-
before pictures.
Yeah, send us photos and then we're going to use Nudify.
Oh, God. Get a free consultation today. Call the number 858-665-3211. Get $200 off your order. SDFatLoss.com is where you need to go. TD, mic off, take a lap.
I'm just saying, like what? Like if they
Right.
lose 30 pounds,
Yeah. Then
Right.
we want
Then
we want to see you, we want to see you completely naked.
we can
Whether
tell.
you-
We can judge if there was an inch.
Yeah, right.
Gain.
That's a
Yeah.
good
Lap.
point.
Right.
Lap.
Golly.
Got to take a lap. All right.
Okay,
Well,
all right, I'll take a
TD's
lap.
doing that. We had the NBA in-season tournament action last night. The finals are set. The field is set for the NBA Cup. It could have actually worked last night, but something very typical.
We're super
happened.
late, but let's stay on till he gets back.
Okay, yeah. Let's find out what happens when he gets back. Yeah. He's fast. He's faster than he looks. He's like kind of like a rolling ball of butcher knives. Here it comes, and I can actually see the water in my glass shaking, and he's back.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you in a few minutes.
So the NBA in-season tournament actually worked. We're going to break it down next.
This update is presented by Macy's Backstage. Starting off here in the NFL, Thursday Night Football, Patriots beat the Steelers 21-18 in a game that saw 15 punts. Week 14 will continue this Sunday. Big matchups, Rams, Ravens early morning, Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, Bills in the afternoon, and Sunday Night Football is going to be Eagles, Cowboys. In the NBA, Lakers win big last night, 133-89 in the semifinals of the in-season tournament. The championship is tomorrow at 5:30 against the Pacers. In college football or college hoops, Aztecs returning home tomorrow night. They got UC Irvine at Viejas Arena. Pre-game coverage gets going at 6:30 from just outside Viejas. Tip-off at 7:30. Tickets available at goaztecs.com. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? How about perfect holiday gifts? Just $25 and under, like matching family PJs, fragrance sets, toys, and more. Find the latest trends, new arrivals, and great prices at a Macy's Backstage store near you.
Big Rich, Cheaty, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760, and join San Diego Sports 760 at Nova Kombucha. Am I saying this all correctly?
Yeah. Nova.
Okay, and Nova Kombucha. It doesn't say that in the copy. Just a heads up. San Diego?
Join
Sorry.
San Diego Sports 760, Nova Kombucha, and Cable Pipe and Leak
Yeah, I got
Protection
that.
to support Rady Children's
was
Hospital
there.
this holiday season. On Wednesday, December 13th, Thursday, December 14th, you will hear stories of hope and healing from Rady Children's patients and families during the iHeart Rady Children's Give-a-thon.
I'm just missing one
I was
comma.
leading into that.
Well, I think you
That's
said
all.
at Nova Kombucha.
Yes, I did. Yeah. You know what I was thinking was Nova Brazil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fun spot too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but listen, coming up next week, we do it every year. You know it. It's the Rady Children's Hospital Give-a-thon. We always compete with other stations here. We dominate. And it's all thanks to the people who listen to this show. There's a lot of people whose lives have been changed and affected by Rady Children's Hospital and the wonderful work that their doctors and nurses and specialists do over there. So if there's room in the budget, make a little extra next week if you can. We certainly would appreciate it. And we know that our partners over at Rady Children's Hospital will as well. Okay, so we had NBA in-season tournament action last night. We had a game between the Bucks and the Pacers, which wasn't a particularly close finish, but it was even worse fate for the New Orleans Pelicans, who lose, again, by a score of a ton to very few. 133 to 89. Holy smokes.
Okay. So this is I don't know. This seems crazy to me for an in-season tournament. You see a blowout this big.
Yeah.
I mean, something's not matching up right here to me.
Well, I'll tell you what is so typical here, and the problem really the NBA has in their playoff structure altogether is you have teams who will quit. You have teams who will just lay down. You never see it in the NFL. It just doesn't happen. It never happens in the NFL. Nobody just quits. The Patriots,
Broncos.
Well, even them. Look how much fight they showed this season after a rough start.
Oh yeah, no, they're coming back. I just meant that Miami Dolphins game. There was a laydown.
So I get okay, maybe
but that is the exception.
Yeah,
I mean
it's the exception. This is commonplace in the NBA. In the NFL, you could point to one singular moment this season. There won't be another one. I promise you.
No,
it's just it never happens. Again, you never say never. Blah blah. What the point I'm trying to make here with the Pelicans is they score 54 first half points. And then they come out and have a slow third quarter, and they packed it in.
Mm-hmm.
They scored 17 points in the third quarter. They scored 18 in the fourth. To LeBron James and the Lakers, 43, and then they finished them off with 23. It was the most non-competitive second half I've ever seen in a playoff in my life.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Actually, but, I say that, but I've also watched the NBA playoffs before and have seen teams quit because they know they have a 7-game series. So
yeah,
I say that, but I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth.
That is true. However, I don't know if I've seen a 40 nearing 50-point loss in a playoff game. I can't recall
yes, you
one.
Have.
I have?
Yeah, they've happened.
Oh,
they happen every year.
And they've happened in the playoffs multiple times. I see this to me is the problem with the NBA, or I should say the problems with the NBA are bigger than I think can be corrected with the current power structure the way it is. The players just have too much power. So you can have a team look at each other and say, hey, is the whatever it is, the $200,000 that we're going to make next round really all that important to us? Or is it more important to us to save our legs because this is a long season? The Lakers are obviously going to win this one with the lead they have coming out of the halfway point of the third quarter. I'm sure a timeout was called, and collectively the Pelicans looked up at the scoreboard and went, yep, this one's over.
Mm-hmm.
And that is awful for sports fans.
That's awful for sports. I mean, sports fans, but this is irritating to me. And this goes back to if you had a shorter season and you want to compare it to the NFL and how teams don't quit, teams don't lay down, even teams that will not make the playoffs, typically they might be playing a team that is making the playoffs and they want to be the spoiler because one game matters. One game could determine the fate of their opponent, and they want to be that team that screws it up for them.
Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers last year. Green Bay Packers needed to win to get in. Detroit Lions were already out of the playoffs. Detroit Lions did everything possible to keep the Packers out of the playoffs, and the Lions went out and won that game.
That's fun. That's fun. That's what makes sports cool.
It's just a way. I mean, like if you write Pelicans quit in Twitter, in a Twitter search, I mean, you'll have tons of people saying the same thing. You know, they quit before halftime. Zion's in horrible shape. Pelicans quit. They came to Vegas for the hose, not to hoop. It's like it's a million. It's a million of the same tweet. And it's because NBA fans, they were sold a bill of goods. They were expecting to see a playoff atmosphere in Vegas, and they got it. They got it with the Bucks Pacers game.
Quote from Zion after the game: "Just a lack of competitive spirit from our group."
It's Juan Soto all over again.
I'm thinking the exact same thing. Yeah, we go out there. Yeah, we quit sometimes.
That's exactly what happened last night. The Pelicans, New Orleans Pelicans players should be ashamed of themselves. That was an absolute dog meat performance by them. They had no effort in the second half whatsoever. And like I said, collectively, they looked up at the scoreboard and they decided, this one's done. We're fine. We made enough money advancing to the Final Four of this inaugural NBA Cup. We're going home, and that's fine. It's so awful. It's awful.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Okay, coming up next, we got to get to this. Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Is he mid or is he major? We'll dissect that coming up. Justin Herbert, a social media quarterback, or is he a great in this league? We'll dissect that coming up next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on a bar cart Friday. Woo! Tony Kanja, owner-operator of Keg and Bottle, is coming in studio today. And who's he bringing with him? Tequila Garrido.
Ooh.
Okay, Tequila Joe flying in all the way from Michigan is going to join us in studio. We're going to have some cocktails, right? We're going to have a skinny marg.
Yeah.
We're going to have an añejo old-fashioned.
We may do Mac Jones penis shots. We don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a new segment on this show, and we're going to debut it in the 8 o'clock hour. By the way, if that sounds like a bizarre non sequitur,
Yeah.
just go back and listen to our opening segment and you'll understand. And by the way, while you're doing that, follow us on the free iHeartRadio app. Like us, subscribe to us, whatever you have to do to make sure that every morning you're waking up with us on the free iHeartRadio app. If you haven't downloaded it yet, please do. Awesome, especially this time of year. They have all the Christmas music playlists. So it's definitely a good time to get involved. All right. So
breaking news.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Second.
Yeah.
We got more Brock Purdy
elbow.
stats.
Brock Purdy's We immediately go to the same thing.
No, John Paul Morosi up early tweeting this morning. Shohei Ohtani's decision is imminent, possibly as early as today. The Blue Jays are one of the finalists for Shohei as his decision approaches. He's going to be on MLB Network here in a bit.
Wow.
Talking about it.
Wow.
So JP Morosi hopping on MLB Network. We'll try to find that audio if we can replay it for anybody, if there's something to take away there. A lot of people curious where Ohtani's going to land, just fans of baseball, because it is it's unbelievable what he's done throughout his career. Now, he started his career injured, and then he had some injuries this season. So unfortunately, I think it kind of diminished the hype a little bit, but this still is one of the biggest free agency signings we've ever seen in sports history. This is going to be the biggest contract ever signed in sports.
Right.
Could you imagine if it is the Blue Jays?
Does that seem a little lackluster? That doesn't quite have the pop that I'm looking for here on this signing.
Yeah, and so two reasons why. They don't play in the United States.
Yep.
So they're not one of our teams. He's going to play over in Canada.
Right.
But I will say this in defense of what Toronto's done. They put together a really, really great group of young. He's seeing that too, and it's part of the calculus he's doing.
The only thing that feels a little more lackluster than that is if all of this hype and it ends up being Shohei Ohtani's going to stay with the Angels.
So we'll see where he lands. I'll tell you, the only thing that I really appreciate about him going to Toronto is he's not going to LA.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Not playing
Oh,
with the
yeah.
Dodgers.
No, I dig
So
that.
This is a good story.
I dig that in a big
If
way.
Dave Roberts actually screwed up their chances at signing him,
That
that is a
would be
hilarious
great.
story we can sink our teeth into for years.
Yes.
So JP Morosi on Shohei Ohtani. So this is a little bit of a revelation also. Blue Jays may be storming up the board as a potential candidate, but the Dodgers, per sources, have put in a call to Joe Kelly, asking him if he'd be willing to give up his number 17 jersey to the prospective free agency signing of Shohei Ohtani.
That's
And
PR.
well, look, again, why is it being sourced? It's being sourced because the Dodgers want that to get out,
Mhm.
especially after Dave Roberts put his foot in his mouth. But yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. I bet you LA is one of the final 5 teams.
They are. But that's such a story to just put out there and be like, see, look, guys, we're doing this seriously. Like, we're taking this seriously. Like, why does that even need to come out? Asking Joe Kelly if he would be willing to change his number. Of course he would. It's Shohei Ohtani.
Well, it's about building the buzz. Come on. You're in the media game here. You know how this works.
That's why I said it's PR.
Yeah, I get it.
Joe Kelly joked on an appearance on Baseball Isn't Boring podcast saying, I have 11 years of service time. I've been in this league twice as long as him. So he said, unless he wants to buy me a nice car, I'll give up my number. No, so he's joking. He obviously doesn't need anything for the number. He'll give it to Shohei Ohtani. Obviously understands the implications for the Dodgers if they get him. But it wouldn't be nice if, putting it out there, saying like, oh, yeah, if he wants to buy me a car. And then Shohei shows up with like a brand new like Porsche in the parking lot for your boy.
By the way, not surprising that the announcement's imminent on a Friday. This is very much how Shohei Ohtani's been doing this whole thing, where it's been very in the quiet, very secretive. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like later afternoon this Friday, because he just wants the story to be there and then die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rich, you played professional sports. How important is it for you to keep your number?
For me, it wasn't at all. I wore a lot of different jersey numbers. I wore 78 in high school, 64 at Penn State. I wore 62, then 60 with the Patriots. I wore 72 with the Cardinals, 74 with the Chargers. I never had any attachment to numbers, but certain guys do. And there are certain guys who, if they don't get their number, they make a huge fit about it.
Wow.
And there are certain guys who I've seen sell their number to somebody who gets signed to a team and they get broke off. We're talking
Really?
of tens of thousands of dollars.
Shohei doesn't strike me as the guy that needs his number.
Well,
Maybe it is.
there-
Maybe
I don't-
there's some kind of superstition there.
Well, I think it's also all the kids in Japan who have bought that jersey. I think he has a severe loyalty to his hometown where he's from, and I think that's going to weigh in.
I know in certain Asian cultures, numbers are insanely important. I don't know if if the Japanese culture is one of them, but I know that and the number 7 for whatever reason, I think is an important number in so there could be a cultural aspect to this that
Right.
we're not even thinking about also. So there's that as well.
All right, over under, when's it going to happen? I'm going to put 6 hours.
You say 6
No,
hours?
that's the line.
Yeah. So you're saying noon today?
Yeah.
1 o'clock? Oh boy. I'm taking the over.
I'll take the under.
You think it'll happen before noon?
Yeah, probably will.
I have a feeling it's going to be like a 5 o'clock deal.
It's going to be about 9:03.
What happens
Yeah.
if it gets announced tomorrow?
What-
You know what I mean? Like he
Overs hit.
he really wants to bet. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to take the over. I think if it happens today, it's going to be a late afternoon thing like you were talking about, Ben. All right, really quick, want to talk to you about the arch supports over at the Good Feet store. If you have lower back pain, knee, hip, ankle, foot pain, any of those things are bothering you right now as I'm speaking to you, you need to book your first appointment with the Good Feet store. It's try before you buy. So there is no problem walking in the store and saying, hey, it's not for me, because they're going to test fit you. You're going to do a test walk. It takes 20 minutes. And then the decision is yours. Do you want to change the way the foundation of the rest of your body feels and then potentially have the effects that I've enjoyed, which is pain relief in my back to the point where I barely have back pain anymore? Eliminating the pain I was feeling in my knee. I was actually starting to get hip pain. That's gone away as well. And many people have reported the same things. You see his face on Good Feet commercials. Mike Robinson, who I played with at Penn State, he has been wearing orthotics his entire playing career and his entire post-playing career, and he's been going to the Good Feet store for a decade plus now. It is one of those life changers when you have the experience that he had or I've had with the Good Feet store. It can really put you in the right direction from a health standpoint. So if you're waking up every day with lower body joint pain, join the club, right? Get to the Good Feet store or goodfeet.com to book your first appointment today.
This update is presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. It's hour 2 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Thursday Night Football, we got an upset. Patriots taking down the Steelers 21-18 in a game that saw 15 punts. Week 14 continues this Sunday. Big matchups, Ravens, Rams early, Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, Bills in the late window, and Sunday Night Football is going to be Eagles, Cowboys. In the NBA, Lakers win big last night, 133-89. They'll play for the championship of the in-season tournament tomorrow at 5:30 against the Pacers. In college hoops, Aztecs returning home tomorrow at Viejas Arena. They got UC Irvine pregame coverage. Gets going at 6:30 from just outside Viejas Arena. Tip-off at 7:30. Tickets are available at goaztecs.com. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Friday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, Fletch with you on this Bar Car Friday. We got Tony Kanja, owner, operator, Keg and Bottle. He's going to be joining us in studio. Tequila Corrido is going to be the drink of choice, the DOC. So Tequila Joe flew all the way in from Michigan to give the presentation today. We're really excited to meet him. We're also excited to try Tequila Corrido, Blanco, Reposado, Añejo. We're also going to have a couple cocktails. That's coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, along with some new features that we're going to bring to you every Friday. We're excited to unveil those as well.
Yeah.
Coming up on the show today, SeaWorld tickets. So we haven't given those out yet. We have a family 4-pack to SeaWorld to celebrate Christmas with them now through January 7th. SeaWorld is having awesome celebrations, real reindeer. America's Got Talent finalists singing the Christmas hits, doing a little performance there. So be looking forward to giving those away. We got to get to this story and we got to dive right in because there's a little sound attached to this. Sean McDermott may have put his foot in his mouth in the worst way possible. So he's giving this is a closed door meeting, by the way. So this was sourced reporting. He was giving a meeting. Tyler Dunn broke this story that during the course of
This is insane to me.
It's sometimes fiction is it like you think to yourself like, oh, this isn't real. Like we're reading a story, right? This is something that somebody made up. Sometimes life is better than fiction. So I'm going to read the excerpt that was passed along by Adam Schefter from Tyler Dunn's reporting. At St. John Fisher College in Pittsford, New York, McDermott's morning address began innocently enough. He told the entire team they needed to come together. But then sources on hand said that he used a strange model. The terrorists on September 11th, 2001. He cited the hijackers as a group of people who are all able to get on the same page to orchestrate attacks to perfection. One by one, McDermott, I mean, this is bizarre. One by one, McDermott started asking specific players in the room questions like this. What tactics do you think they used to come together? How about this one? A young player tried to methodically answer that one. How about this question? What do you think their biggest obstacle was? A veteran shouted out TSA, which led to laughter. What
the hell is going on? I mean, why would anyone think that this was an okay analogy?
Not that we need to, but let's add some context to this. Sean McDermott coaches a football team in New York.
Yeah.
It's just.
But I mean, if Sean McDermott was to use the way the Japanese got together to attack Pearl Harbor, I don't know if that would still be an okay analogy. I mean,
no,
it's been 82 years as of yesterday. Yesterday was Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't get it. I mean, I don't get it.
So let's hear from Sean, and then we'll dig into this a little bit. But asking the question to yourself why this is coming out, that's the exercise Rich does frequently, and I think it's important because why is it coming out now 2 years later that this happened? But let's hear from Sean yesterday at the podium.
Listen, there are certain things that you are held to account for that, whether you like it or not, are just they're never going to be. Let's put it this way. If you think to yourself, I'm going to go in front of this group of men, I'm going to try to encourage them and inspire them, and I think I have a unique way to do it. But if for a second you're like, should I vet this with one of the coaches? Or you think to yourself, is this really the right angle to look at maybe, the biggest terrorist attack on this country ever? Then maybe you just skip that one, because you're in a position where you hold a responsibility to the people in that room, but also to an organization, the Buffalo Bills, also to a brand overarching the NFL, and also to your family. Like, would you tell that story over Thanksgiving? Like, right. You know what I mean? Like, would you use that as an example to your children? Like, to work together as a group better, citing terrorists who attacked this nation as an example. Look, I say a lot of stupid things, and I'm not going to condemn a guy for trying to come up with a creative way to inspire, but there are just some no-go spaces. And I don't get what leads you down the path of logic to think it's all right to use one of the most vicious and senseless attacks on innocent people this country has ever suffered through as an example of teamwork.
A couple things here. So Sean McDermott never should have said this, never should have crossed his mind. But when it does cross his mind, he should have gotten it vetted, like you said, Rich. But secondly, this also should not be in the public eye. Like, we shouldn't have ever known that this happened, because it was a closed door meeting, because it was 2 years ago. And unless a player came out and said something about it and talked about how affected they were by it, the only way this gets out is if the Buffalo Bills wanted this out. And so we mentioned a few weeks ago that, well, if Bills miss the playoffs this year and there's some issues in paradise, Sean McDermott may be on his way out. Is this the Bills getting everybody ready for the fact that, look, Sean McDermott's not a good guy? This is our way of like telling the public that we are getting rid of him. And it's because, yes, the product on the field has struggled, but he's also not a good guy.
And you might be a couple steps ahead of yourself on that one. The Bills may have heard some rumblings of maybe players or staff talking about this incident. So the Bills PR team goes, well, we got to get ahead of this, man. Go ahead and push this out here to the world so it doesn't look like we have been trying to keep a lid on it. Now, would that lead to his firing? Maybe. Now, and the Bills putting it out there because they're going to fire him is probably leaning a little bit closer to conspiracy theory, but it's possible.
And the timing is nothing short of immaculate.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I get it.
Especially if this is something that happened 2 years ago and we're hearing about it yesterday for the first time.
Well, so Tyler Dunn is one of these reporters who's gone off independent, right? He has his own website. I think it's golongtd.com. So he's a journalist who chases down leads and stories and writes about whatever he wants to, and he can take his time, so in this situation, this was a compilation of stories that he heard, and it's a 3-part article from 25 different conversations he's had with members of Bills personnel, coaching staff, players. Here's the thing about rumors. Like, when somebody says something like, I heard that once X said Y, and you're like, whoa, that's crazy. Well, if you're a reporter who wants to get a little steam around their name or their website, you may chase down that lead, and sometimes it leads to nothing. Sometimes you realize, oh, somebody had an axe to grind. This isn't a real story. And sometimes you find out, wow, no, I found now 3 people who also back up that story. I wonder what else is going on. If he's doing that, what else is going on? And if you read through the article, a lot of the stuff that's written there, some of it's positive about Sean McDermott. Not all of it's negative. But this was a bizarre choice that he made 2 years ago. I think the why is less about the Bills, and it's more about favorable timing for this article to come out. The Bills are about to play their biggest game of their season. They're a 6-6 football team. It's been an underwhelming season. They just fired their offensive coordinator 3 weeks ago. So when you look at timing, same thing as the Padres front office discord. Kevin Acee said it himself. This story could have broke last season, but the Padres were on a championship series run. So nobody wants to read about discord when a team's winning, because it doesn't seem like it meshes. Okay, how could we call it discord if this team is going on a championship series run? Right. But the Bills right now, they could potentially, on the other side of this Chiefs games, change their fate. So it's a timely article released by Dunn to get this out, to get some steam around his website and his name. And if this happened 2 years ago and he's the only person sitting on this story, better now than waiting till the Bills potentially beat the Chiefs.
And then to your point, if there is discord and the team is winning fixes a lot of things.
Everything.
So all of a sudden, if the Padres or the Bills went on to win a championship, that discord may dissipate. It may just vanish and go away because everything's simpatico again. Look, we figured it out. We won. When you're not winning, that puts a magnifying glass on things.
Well, and also it gives credence to the other side of the argument. So say Kevin Acee wrote that article that we read this offseason after the championship run, saying, yeah, they won the championship, but let me tell you, there's a lot of problems. Even if he's right, do you think anybody is going to take Kevin's side and say, yeah, it looks like there's a lot of problems? No, they're going to say, what are you talking about? They just almost won or gained entrance to the World Series. So you have to bide your time with stories like this sometimes. And I think that's exactly what's going on. I think the Bills over the course of the years that this story was being compiled have been a pretty successful franchise, and you're waiting for the moment to strike.
And I mean, keeping the main thing, how do you even say this? Like, how is this the thing that pops into your head?
Well, look, right. And I know, if you were talking, if there's ever a moment where you think I should have this vetted, I don't even understand how this one comes up in your normal thinking and go, I mean, I think it's a good idea, but maybe I'll toss it around, with the guys and see what they have to say about it. This shouldn't even be a thought that this could work.
How many other examples of positive communication did he go through and decide not to do it?
Yeah, like what did the list look like before
Let's
he
see, cast of friends? Lasted for a long time. What other great examples of teamwork were there?
Let's go down the list.
Adolf Hitler. People still stung by that one.
Third Reich. No, scribble that one out. Like, I mean, honestly, like, what were the other choices before he got to the 9/11 terrorists to use as an example of teamwork? It's mind-blowingly stupid. I'm sure the people in that room were made largely uncomfortable. Look, I've been a part of squad meetings where coaches have said some really awful stuff. Really, really awful stuff. Either humiliating a player, saying so. I mean, one time I was a part of a meeting where a coach, and I will not name names, said something extremely disparaging about a player's wife. And that was crazy. I mean, like I've been a part of some crazy meetings. So trust me when I tell you, when you have a responsibility to address a team on a daily basis and you feel comfortable in that role and you feel like nothing's ever going to get out, it's a very insular environment. You'll get a little wild sometimes. And I've seen coaches do that a lot, but this is beyond the pale.
Well, Thursday night football last night, and check this out. Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry.
Be Zappy.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Baby Zappy goes lights out in the first half, scoring a couple touchdowns. They scored 21 points in 2 quarters, and then that was it. They ended up beating the Steelers, though, 21-18. Pats improved to 3-10 on the season. Steelers fall to 7-6. My chances of escaping the Pocky One Chip Challenge have slightly diminished due to that loss of the Steelers. Thanks so much there. What they got 4 games left. They got to go 3-1, and that's probably my best chance to escape this thing.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, not good. Not good. Some great games around the league, though, this week, including Bills and Chiefs, Eagles, Cowboys. We're going to be getting to that a little bit later here in the show. In the NBA, the in-season tournament semifinals, the Pacers shoot down the Bucks 128-119. The Lakers drown the Pelicans 133-89. You're welcome. In baseball,
not bad.
Blue Jay Shohei, maybe.
Yeah,
we're supposed to hear possibly today where Shohei Ohtani's supposed to go.
We got Aztecs Hoops tomorrow night, Viejas Arena, 7:30 tip-off, 6:30 pregame show. Come on by, say hi. Love to see you.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun again tomorrow night. No more tickets available for that one?
Not on our show, but
okay.
Not on any shows, but go Aztecs.com for tickets.
There you go.
Okay.
It will be sold out.
There's no doubt. I mean, it's just the Viejas Arena is one of the funnest environments you could get to. And also, like, it's a really lively environment. Even when the students go home for the holidays.
I had a meeting yesterday with some folks over at San Diego State, and I was asking about that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so, well, these games coming up, do we need to move pregame setup just in case, like, the line's going to be a little shorter for the games when students go home and we're going to be sold out still.
Yeah. It gives an opportunity for, certain fans who wouldn't normally get to sit in the student section to sit behind the basket and get kind of get to play the role of the show, which is really cool. All right, we're setting up the wheel of football here. We'll get to that in just a second. If you missed the breaking news this morning from JP Morosi, our buddy, friend of the show, MLB insider, he says Shohei Ohtani's signing is imminent. He said it's going to happen. It's a matter of hours potentially before he makes his announcement. Also added that Toronto is a front runner. Okay, so there's 5 teams who have a chance at signing Shohei. I'm sure he's deliberating with his team as we speak, preparing his speech and all those things. So we'll find out soon what's going on there in the world of Major League Baseball. But we turn our attention to the NFL with a game we like to play called Wheel of Football. Yeah. We got topics all over the wheel. Wherever it lands, that's where we'll go. And the first topic is, will Tyreek Hill have over 2,000 yards receiving this season?
Not only is the answer yes, because he's on pace. I think he needs like 500 and something yards still, and he has like 5 games left.
Yep.
So he's on pace. If he does go over 2,000, there's no way he doesn't get the MVP.
Wow, really?
I
no
think so.
way he doesn't get the MVP.
There's no way he shouldn't deserve to get the MVP.
Well,
NFL voters are wacky. They might give it to somebody else like Dak Prescott, but Tyreek Hill would deserve it.
No way he doesn't deserve it. The problem is there's a WR after his name, not a QB, which I think goes a long way when you're picking who the MVP is.
So averaging 123.4 yards per game.
That's bonkers.
I mean, it's absolutely bonkers. So he's well on pace. He's got 93 receptions, 1,481 yards through the first 13 weeks of the regular season. So if he stays on pace, he's going to have 2,098 receiving yards, which would blow Calvin Johnson's previous single season record of 1,964 in 2012 right out of the water. Here's the reason why I don't think he'll win MVP. You got to remember, this is voted on by fans. It's voted on by MVP voters. He's got a checkered past.
Yep.
Violence against women is held against you for a long time, for a very long time. The same way PEDs is held against you. I mean, he was charged and convicted of a crime against his then baby mama.
Was that when he was in college?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the reason why he wasn't a first-round draft pick. So it's just one of those things where I don't think that the NFL is going to want to have Tyreek Hill's name be emblazoned in lights and be a part of NFL history in that way. Especially,
you also hear people say, well, it's not a full, or it's not the same season that Calvin Johnson did the record in. It's a extra game this year.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think even with 2,000 yards, as substantial as that is and as historic as that is, I don't think they'll give him MVP. Let's spin that wheel.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Swinging around. And is Justin Herbert mid?
Okay. So I saw this morning.
Who wrote that on the wheel? Flash wrote that.
Justin Herbert. I believe I said, why is Justin Herbert so great? And why are the Chargers so mid? But Justin Herbert has an opportunity this weekend against Travis Dale's Denver Broncos to become the 3rd quarterback in NFL history to have 26 games over 300 passing yards by the time his 4th season is over. So obviously he still can break that record, but the other 2, any guesses? One of them plays in today's NFL.
Wow. Tua?
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh,
The second one, Kurt Warner, who had one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time and the greatest first few years. So Justin Herbert,
or something.
I mean, he's about to place his mark on NFL history. And the Chargers, are they still 500 since the time he opened up as the starter?
Yeah, but also, I mean, couldn't he have done this last week as well? He had a terrible game last week.
Probably.
Yeah, I think I think the same stat would have been last week, and he just fell short. Justin Herbert's fantastic. I mean, he's fantastic. He's fantastic, and unfortunately, he's on a team that just cannot figure it out. And I do put a lot of the blame on that coaching staff. Brandon Staley's got to go, man.
Speaking of which, Nick on YouTube says Brandon Staley this year MVP candidate for being the dumbest coach by fans.
I'll vote.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, I don't know after Sean McDermott and his speeches to the team.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That takes the cake. I'm sorry. Sean McDermott wins all of those awards. I will say this about Justin Herbert. Even though he didn't have an amazing statistical performance against the Patriots last we saw him, he was clutch. He was clutch when he needed to be. And that was one of the only negative things you could say about Justin Herbert last season or this season is a lot of close losses in games. He's the reason why the Chargers won. Spin that wheel. Okay.
I was distracted up there. I don't know what's happening on the TV.
Yeah. All right. How about this one?
Oh, okay.
Justin Jefferson is back off of IR.
Thank you.
Does this make the Vikings viable?
I'm going to go no. I'm going to say no.
I'm also going to say no because I think Josh Dobbs has been a little exposed over, especially the last game. Josh Dobbs, who went on this incredible run, we called it beforehand, saying this might be the day where his luck runs out, the pastronaut. I just don't know that the Vikings actually have it at the quarterback position.
So you get a lot of time between him. Are they coming off their bye week? I believe they had a bye in week 13. So if that's the case, because I believe Justin Jefferson was supposed to come off of IR prior to the bye, did not. They go into their bye on the other side of the bye now. He's back. So
no, they played the Raiders last week.
Yeah.
And then they have the Bengals obviously tomorrow.
They played the Raiders last week?
Sorry, they're on bye right now.
Oh, that's where we're at.
No, the Vikings. Sorry,
no,
Vikings play the Raiders this week.
Did they have a bye week in week 13?
Hang on. I mean,
Monday, November 27th. Okay, yes, they were on bye last week. Apologies.
So coming out of the bye week, you get Justin Jefferson back. I trust Kevin O'Connell as a QB whisperer. Kirk Cousins has never looked better in his career than he has wearing not wearing a Vikings jersey because he was there obviously before KOC got there. But his best season as a pro was last year with the Vikings with Kevin O'Connell in his headset. So I believe that Josh Dobbs, things were spinning when he first touched down in Minnesota. Somehow they mustered 2 wins, which is huge. But after 2 straight losses and going into the bye week, I think there's some time to take a deep breath, realize okay, I got to learn this system. I actually got to learn some of my teammates' names. And getting Justin Jefferson back, I think bodes extremely well. I think the Vikings could go on a little bit of a run here.
Well, they're going to have to get it together. They got the Vikings, and they play the Bengals, which seems like a win.
They're going to play themselves?
Raiders, then Bengals,
I'm sorry,
then Lions.
Yes, they play themselves. That's how it works. Duh. You don't know football? Then they got the Lions, they got the Packers, they got the Lions again to finish out the season.
Yeah, well, again.
And the Packers all of a sudden are a viable team.
Jordan Love looks good.
Right.
Jordan Love actually looks good. Okay, do we spin the wheel one more time or we run out of time?
Oh, God.
I love that wheel. Wheel. Okay, we got to make room for Jared Smith, our Fox Sports Radio lead betting analyst. He joins the show every single Friday to give us a preview of our NFL betting slate. That's next on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Let's get you the best bet of the week with our betting analyst, Jared Smith, coming up next.
This update is presented by Macy's Backstage. Thursday Night Football, we got an upset win. Patriots took down the Steelers 21-18 in a game that's all 15 punts. Week 14 continues this Sunday. Big matchups, Rams-Ravens early, Broncos-Chargers, Chiefs-Bills in the afternoon slate, and Sunday Night Football, we get the Eagles and the Cowboys. In the NBA, Lakers win big last night, 133-89 in the semifinals of the in-season tournament. The championship is going to be tomorrow night, 5:30 against the Pacers. And in college hoops, Aztecs returning home tomorrow. They got UC Irvine at Viejas Arena. Pre-game coverage gets going at 6:30 from just outside Viejas Arena. Tip-off at 7:30. Tickets still available at goaztecs.com. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? How about the perfect holiday gifts? Just $25 and under, like matching family PJs, fragrance sets, toys, and more. Find the latest trends, new arrivals, and great prices at a Macy's Backstage store near you.
It's Big Red Sheedy and Fletch at San Diego Sports 760. We still have that family 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld, San Diego's Christmas celebration coming up, where the wonders of the sea meet the joy of Christmas at SeaWorld San Diego. From underwater discoveries to San Diego's largest Christmas tree, the Sky Tower Tree of Lights. Experience thrilling rides to Mrs. Claus' Christmas parade, real reindeer photos with Santa, taste the heartwarming traditions, and sing along to a stocking full of soul featuring America's Got Talent finalist Brian Cheatham. It's a holiday celebration filled with wondrous moments only at SeaWorld San Diego, happening now through January 7th.
Boom. Love that. Woo. Love that. Looking forward to that. Okay. Joining us on the show as he does every single Friday at 7:30 to get you ready for your betting weekend, Jared Smith, lead Fox Sports radio betting analyst. Also, you could hear him on Countdown to Kickoff. That's coming up tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time, where I will join Jared Smith and Brian Noe, and we'll break down the college football slate of bowl games, and we have the semifinal slate set. Okay, so we haven't had a chance to talk, Jared, since the Final Four, the top four teams in college football got announced. Can we get a little preview as to what we're going to discuss tomorrow? How do you feel about the way the group was set for the playoff this year?
Well, I think it would be a cold day in hell before they left out the SEC, right?
Yeah.
But I think it was obvious that, and the biggest contradiction was what they did with the group of five, right? Because in the college football playoff world, they gave the berth to the best team, which was, in their mind, Alabama, leaving out the most deserving team, which was obviously Florida State, undefeated record. But with the New Year's Six group of five berth, right? One group of five team gets a berth to the New Year's Six every year. They did the exact opposite. They gave the berth to Liberty, who went 13-0, but played the worst schedule in college football. So they're the most deserving team, but they left out SMU, who played two Big 12 teams in the non-conference and really looked good last week against Tulane, despite having a backup quarterback. So it's just a massive, I don't know what the committee just kind of making it up as they go, because for the college football playoff, right, they leave out the most deserving team, but in the New Year's Six group of five, they put in the most deserving team. So it's like, what's the criteria here? Is it best team? Is it most deserving? Frankly, I think they just picked the best four teams in terms of the best matchups. And they kind of said, all right, well, we're not going to have the plucky underdog this year like we had last year with TCU, but TCU won the semifinal and made it to the championship. So it just, I wish it would have went differently. Florida State got absolutely hosed, but
Yeah.
I understand why the committee thinks with its pockets first before their brain.
Yeah, and without a doubt, we were all appalled here as well. But looking over at the NFL, we've got some pretty interesting matchups this week. One of them, Bills and Chiefs. Bills favored just by 1.5 at home. Who do you like here?
Well, I think the news that came out yesterday on Sean McDermott is really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have touched on that yet, but I think that, and the irony is I've kind of been hearing rumblings that something was going to be coming out on him for the last few weeks because of just the direction that the franchise is going. And I was always wondering why Leslie Frazier stepped down in the offseason with all the positive things happening for Buffalo, right? You would think the Bill, a guy who was a defensive coordinator on a team that, was a breath away from the Super Bowl and, with Josh Allen, you would want to stay. But he suddenly resigned in the offseason, and now we know why, because of all of this behind-the-scenes stuff happening with Sean McDermott. And it just it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and it makes me want to fade them every time they play a big game. So I think the Chiefs off a loss. I think Mahomes, the number I looked at was 16-3 straight up off a loss, 3-0 this year straight up in ATS off a loss. So I think the Chiefs off the loss is probably the way I would play this, and maybe the under if you think Kansas City's defense has been better than their offense this year. But when these two teams play, weird things happen. So I just think Kansas City at home under a field goal. That's the way I would play this.
Jared, couple things going against the 49ers when you look at the spread this week. It's a big spread, first of all, 10.5 points. They're in Seattle, second of all. And third of all, it's a divisional matchup. Big spreads and divisional matchups usually kind of scary, especially when the home team is the dog. Are you staying away from this one?
My number says San Francisco should cover, but I agree with your situational points. Right, the number only tells you what the the rating spits out. It doesn't give you the context of the game, and the context is the Niners have played a couple of really tough games in a row, a couple of big blowouts last week, especially. I mean, we were very fortunate last week to not have to sweat that one at all against the Eagles. But I obviously, if you bet the Niners here, I would imagine at some point you're going to be sweating. Now, they did just play a couple weeks ago, Thanksgiving, and San Francisco won handily in Seattle. So I don't think they're not capable of covering this number. I just agree that the situation probably calls for you to look elsewhere this week.
All right, got to get to this one. And we're joined by Jared Smith, Fox Sports Radio lead betting analyst. You'll hear him tomorrow morning on Countdown to Kickoff, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Saturday morning with myself and Brian Noe. Got to ask you about this Chargers-Broncos game coming up this weekend. Broncos dogged at home, dogged on the road by 3 points. Chargers coming off of a rare road win in Foxborough. Broncos get beat by the Texans. How you feeling about this one?
Yeah, that Patriots win last night makes you feel a little differently about what the Chargers did last week.
Yeah,
right?
No doubt.
And I know, you don't want to compare if you get too caught up in the transitive property of football, you'll lose your mind, because Arizona just beat Pittsburgh last week, and then New England beats Pittsburgh, and now the Chargers beat New England. So it all just kind of goes full circle. I do think this Chargers offense has some problems. I think when you look at what Denver's been able to do recently, last week was a tough game. I really thought they could have won that game last week. I mean, I was on Denver plus 3.5. They had multiple opportunities driving down the field late against Houston. And I think it was first and goal at the 10 or first and 10 at the 15. I mean, they were in the red zone with 2 minutes left, and they just couldn't get that, game-winning touchdown to get them over the hump. But they were right there in Houston. And then right now, Houston looks like one of the better teams in the NFL based on how things are shaking out. But I would say the Chargers, you can't lay more than a field goal with them. So you take 3 with Denver. If it goes down to 2.5, you tease Denver up, you pair it with something else. But I can't lay points with the Chargers.
Jared, Eagles at Cowboys. Eagles dogs by 3.5. Is that the best bet of the week?
No, it's not. I'll be honest. I think this Eagles team is still kind of in fade mode right now. And Dallas has played some really good football the last couple of weeks. Now, I'm not excited about the 3.5. Right, there are some 3s out there. They're more expensive than the other bets, than the 3.5. But I think if you find a 3 with Dallas, that's the way I would play this. I think Dallas at home. I mean, they should have won that game a few weeks ago. Prescott stepped out of bounds. They had 4th and goal. They couldn't get it in the end zone. I mean, they had multiple opportunities to win in Philly a few weeks ago, and that was kind of the beginning of this little run for the Eagles where they've been kind of a fade. So I think they're still a fade until further notice, and I think you look for a 3 and you bet Dallas -3 this week.
Love it. Love it. Okay, 30 seconds. What's the best bet of the week?
I think it's Dallas. I honestly do.
Okay.
I like the over in that game too. I think that's a good way to hedge just betting Dallas because, Philly's got some explosive receivers, and you would imagine after what we saw with Geno Smith last week, they should be able to move it a little bit. But I think Dallas moves it more, and I think Dallas and the over is the way I would bet that one.
So that's the one, Dallas and the over. He's handing out winners every week. He does it here on our show, and then absolutely always on fire on Countdown to Kickoff. Jared, we appreciate it, man. We'll do it in a week.
Good luck, guys.
All right, there he is, Jared Smith, and I love how Fletch behind the glass is like, yeah, when we do our show, he just gives me this look,
Grief. Gives you grief.
gives you grief every time.
We have listener John in who came in to say hey this morning. So he's hanging out with us. And listener John comes in, he looks at Fletch and he goes, oh my gosh, you really did drop this weight.
Yeah.
Fletch pulls out a photo of him from just a few months ago, and it's incredible. It really is. Fletch down nearly 50 pounds here with SDFatLoss.com.
Look at this
The
guy.
shirt comes up. Yeah, the belly button not nearly as deep, still very golden brown, which is very shocking,
It's
but all
alarming,
done with
yeah.
SDFatLoss.com. Look, we all drop pounds on this thing. I dropped 30 pounds in 8 weeks' time. Rich, 35 plus. We're maintaining now. But look, it's the holiday season, and if you're thinking, I'd like to go to one of these holiday parties 10 or 15 pounds lighter, but I don't think I have the time because that holiday party's 10 days away. Look, you can drop 10 pounds in 10 days with SDFatLoss.com. Or if you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll wait till the new year. That's fine. Either way, SDFatLoss.com, they're going to take care of you because they're offering $200 off with the holiday special now through December 31st. Lock in the savings, or you can start the program in January, whichever you like. The staff, the coaches over there, Dr. Wayne, Chloe, they'll make sure you're taken care of the right way. I promise you that. It worked for us. It'll work for you. SDFatLoss.com. Start your weight loss journey today. Schedule your free consultation today at SDFatLoss.com.
Speaking of great motivators, and Wayne and Chloe absolutely were, we're going to take a look at 2 athletes, the tale of 2 draft picks. One has made his team a mess. The other one has made his team a champion. We'll explain why on the other side.
We got to talk about the best thing in the whole wide world coming up next.
Big Rich TDM Fletch with you on a Bar Car Friday. We have our buddy Joe Belly in studio coming up in just 10 minutes. He's setting up for a delicious tasting of tequila corrido. We're going to be enjoying a Blanco Reposado Añejo as well. Tony Kanja, Keg and Bottle, is going to be in. That's who really provides this for us, right? Keg and Bottle, 10 locations around San Diego. So super pumped to try some tequila this morning.
Yeah, also coming up next week, join San Diego Sports 760, Indian Motorcycle of San Diego, and San Diego County Credit Union to support Rady Children's Hospital this holiday season on Wednesday, December 13th and Thursday, December 14th. You will hear stories of hope and healing from Rady Children's patients and families during the iHeart Rady Children's Give-a-thon.
I'm going to read you two headlines from either side of the same game. And remember, both of these were first-round draft picks, one from overseas, one obviously from the United States. Zion Williamson came out of Duke. He barely played while he was there, and the Pelicans bet the farm. They took him in the first round. Giannis, the Greek freak, obviously went to the Bucks as a first rounder with the promise of bringing them a championship, and he made good on that promise. Well, after the game, and it was a huge loss for the Pels, Zion, this is his headline. It's Zion takes blame, too laid back in 44-point loss, this to the Lakers. Now the Bucks, they lose to the Pacers, right? This is Giannis. Giannis rips Bucks effort. We have to be better. What's crazy about first round draft picks, like you look at, for example, a Zach Wilson versus a Patrick Mahomes. You look at, a Josh Rosen versus a Josh Allen. It's as much about the personality as it is about the playing style. Like, I mean, there's nothing about Zion Williamson that reads to me that he can't be a superstar and a great at this level, but I don't think he has the personality for it.
So I don't think anyone has ever once questioned how hard Giannis Antetokounmpo works and how often he's in the gym, how often off-season training is occurring with Giannis, how, in fact, he's trying to improve different assets of his game that he struggled with early on, namely shooting the basketball. But with Zion Williamson, man, every conversation begins with him. He can't stay healthy because he can't drop the weight. He's not working hard enough in the offseason because he's showing up overweight. So every little thing that goes into this is being proven true. And that those two comments are so telling about the two players that they are, both of whom have entire cities counting on them, by the way.
Yeah.
Both of whom have the future of this league counting on them as Steph Curry and LeBron James grow older. So it's kind of with Zion, what do you want your legacy to be? Do you want it to be often injured, never playing? Or do you want it to be the same as Giannis, which is works his ass off, gets Milwaukee to a championship? Things could go very differently.
Well, also look into the psyche of this. On one hand, you have Zion saying, I take the blame, like it's all on him. And then on the other side, it's we have to do better because they have to play as a team. So you have a singular mentality versus a team mentality, and that team mentality is where it should be.
Well, it's just fascinating when you think about first round draft picks, how consequential they are. Like, think about the Jets right now. The Jets are reeling. The Jets had to trade to get Aaron Rodgers and leverage their future because they got it so wrong with Zach Wilson and taking him second overall.
Not to mention also Sam Darnold.
Okay,
Was he not first overall?
No,
second?
No, he was further down the draft, I think.
He was early.
He was early. He was a top 10 pick for sure. I think maybe 7th overall, something like that, but another high draft pick for them. But I mean, you can ruin your chances of having success for the better part of a decade if you screw that up bad enough. That's why the Carolina Panthers, after 11 games, fired Frank Reich, because all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, we're spiraling. And Bryce Young isn't improving, and you panic. You go into absolute panic mode if you're David Tepper with the Panthers. Or in this case, the Pelicans ownership, because they bet the farm. They traded away to go up and get Zion Williamson, and look what it's netted them. Nothing so far in the West.
Sam Darnold was the 3rd overall pick.
There you
So
go.
2 drafts within 3 years of each other, because Sam Darnold, that was the Baker Mayfield draft, so that was 2018. He was the 3rd overall, and then Zach Wilson, 2nd. I mean, come on, Jets.
Dude.
Get out of your own way one time. Not to mention who the other quarterbacks drafted in those classes were. Lamar Jackson,
God Lord.
Tony's here.
who went well after Sam Darnold, by the way.
Yes, he did. He
So-
was 32nd overall to the Ravens, who snuck back into the first round to get him. Tony Kanja,
Yeah.
keg and bottle, just walked through the door. We got Joe Belly, Tequila Corrido in studio for Bar Cart Friday. Super pumped to get you set for your weekend. Coming up next, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
It's hour 3 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Staples Stores. Bar Cart Friday coming up next. But first, Thursday Night Football gave us an upset win. Patriots taking down the Steelers 21-18 in a game that saw 15 punts. Week 14 continues this Sunday. Big matchups here. Ravens, Rams, early window. Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, Bills in the late window. Sunday Night Football gives us a good one. Eagles, Cowboys in Dallas. In the NBA, Lakers win big last night, 133-89 in the semifinals of the in-season tournament. Championship game will be tomorrow at 5:30 against the Pacers. And in college hoops, Aztecs returning home tomorrow night. They got UC Irvine at Viejas Arena. Pregame coverage gets going at 6:30 from just outside Viejas Arena. Tip-off at 7:30. Tickets available at goaztecs.com. Staples Holiday Deals means amazing savings for the holiday season on hot tech like laptops, game system, earbuds, and more. Right now, save up to $350 on select PCs. In-store only. Offer ends 12/23. See an associate for details. Have yourself a merry little holiday deal at Staples.
Thank God it's Friday!
It's been a long week and the fellas are thirsty.
Once it hits your lips, so good!
It's time to cruise into the weekend. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch present Bar Card Friday. Brought to you by Keg and Bottle.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on a Bar Cart Friday, brought to you by Keg and Bottle. 10 locations around San Diego, one in Santa Barbara, one in Chicago as well. So if you're one of our national listeners on the free iHeartRadio app, welcome in. We're glad to have you. If you haven't downloaded the free iHeartRadio app, please do. Best way to support the show: follow, like, subscribe, share with buddies. That is the ultimate, right? If you enjoy something, share with someone else. More people find out. Best way to support it. Speaking of supporting, my goodness, what is going to be the tent pole? What is going to be the main support of this hour is Tequila Corrido. So we have Tequila Joe in studio with us this morning, and we got an opportunity to catch up with him. Tony's going to play bartender today. Tony Kanja. First of all, you nervous, or now is this old hat for you?
I had some consultations with my guys in the bar.
There's a lot of products over there. A lot of things happening.
That's what they said. Bring a lot, spread it out. You'll look professional.
Okay, good.
But
just smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Tequila Joe Belly joining us, bringing us Tequila Corrido today. How you doing, Joe?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks.
Man,
Thanks
we're
for having me.
pumped to have you in studio, and we're already set up with your Tequila Corrido Blanco sitting in front of us. We're going to taste it in a second, but
Gosh, it smells so
I
good.
want to hear a little bit about your story. How did you get involved with this brand? Why tequila? What brings you this way?
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool story. I've been in the tequila alcohol business for quite a while. After a little bit of time in the radio career.
Yeah.
And the brand that I was working for before, the Skull Vodka, I was telling you about it, the Skull Tequila. We sold that about 4 years ago, and then I was representing some other brands kind of floating around the industry. And a friend of mine said, "You've got to try this Tequila Corrido." I was kind of looking for a home in the industry because I was just having fun out there. And then I tasted this tequila, and I flew to Phoenix, Arizona, where the owners are. I figured out where the headquarters are, and I came to them and I said, "I need to work for you. This is the best tequila I've tried in years."
Wow.
I'm like, "What do you guys do? How do you make it?" And I heard the story. I listened to the owners. I sat down. The owners, we went out that night, and a year later, here we are, and we're just now launching California. That's why I'm here.
Now you said right before we came on the air that you guys make tequila the old school way, not the way that tequila is being made now. What's the difference? Well, how do you guys make it?
Yeah, so the real easy way of saying it, this is the real easy version is, you ever have microwave pizza?
Yeah.
Rubbery, horrible.
Whoa,
wait,
slow
wait,
down,
whoa,
Joe.
whoa,
I
hang
love
on.
microwave
Hang on.
pizza.
I'm Italian.
Hang
I'm
on.
Italian.
I mean, okay. Oh.
I'm Italian from Detroit, where we pride ourselves. Detroit style pizza. Come on.
Yeah, we got the pan pizza.
I moved to California. I had to learn to make pizza homemade.
Yeah.
The pizza here, can I say sucks on the radio?
Yeah, you can. You can say
If you talk about a burritos, I will kill you.
Yeah.
No.
We will come at you
Mexican
like a
food here is
spider
the
monkey.
No, but so you compare the way tequila is mass produced from like that frozen store-bought pizza you stick in the microwave. You guys do it differently.
To a wood-fired pizza.
Yeah.
Really
he's
good.
got the hand. He's got the Italian hand going.
That's just a really easy way to say it. So the technical words are, a lot of brands today, I wish I had this problem. They need to make 100,000 cases. I'm not going to mention brands or anything, but celebrity brands, they have such demand immediately that they have to make tequila so fast. They buy young agaves. They cook it in what's called a diffuser. which is basically they cook the agaves with chemicals to do it really fast. And they basically strip all the flavor out of the agave plants. And then they have to add the CRT, which is the regulatory body of tequila in Mexico, allows 1% of flavors to be added to tequila. So they add vanilla, sugar, coloring, and glycerin. And those 4 things can be so many nasty things. So a lot of tequila today tastes like vanilla sugar water. And again, not to mention brands, but then ours is made the old-fashioned way. We use mature agaves. We're from the highlands in Arandas, about an hour and a half northeast of the Guadalajara airport. Easy way to say it.
Yeah.
But we cook our agave slowly in an autoclave, and then we just we double distill, and so it's really the old-fashioned way of making tequila. And very few people can afford to take the time and put it in the quality. Another really key thing. Our master distiller is a female, very famous in the industry. Ana Maria Romero is her name. Really famous. And she's going to be coming up here doing tastings and things like that. So we have quality people all the way around, and we do it.
So we got the tequila corrido in front of us, the Blanco. I'm holding it up to the camera here for anybody who's streaming us live right now. I mean, you got the guitar pick. We'll get to the reason why that's tied around the neck of the bottle here, but let's taste this Blanco.
Let's taste this thing and then get the top shelf.
Oh, yeah. We got to hit top shelf in a second here. Hang on.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wow.
Dude.
Wow.
That's
okay.
special. That's really good.
Listen. This has happened to me before where I get a sip of a tequila and I go, man, that tastes like it's fresh for some reason. Like I mean, a fresh squeezed agave in some manner. How do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's how we do it. We do it. Painstaking care, and to the point, Ana Maria is so meticulous about distilling. She runs everything. She goes out to the agave fields. She tests the Brix content in the agave plant before they're allowed to pick it. And sometimes I haven't seen this in person, but I've heard.
Yeah.
She'll stand there even when the trucks arrive with the agave plant. She'll say, throw that one out. Throw that one out.
No kidding. So she's like hand selecting what goes and what stays.
Absolutely.
Holy smokes.
And then she'll follow the distillation around the whole way and make sure it's made right.
Hey, Joe.
Wow.
You mentioned Brix. Can you tell the boys what you mean by that?
Brix content is it's the content in the agave. I mean, without getting too technical, it's BRIX if you want to look it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the soil content, she measures everything. And so it all has to be right. And mature agaves are right around 6 to 7 to 10 years.
Wow. This right here is going on top shelf. I'm telling you that much.
Absolutely.
And this tequila corrido on sale right now. Keg and bottle. You mentioned Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This normally is what, $90 a bottle?
$90 a bottle. Everyone's getting $10 off right now. I'll double check exactly what we did because Jess, who runs the business in Southern California, was giving us a hard time. Let's do something special for the listeners, so we discounted it. So let's see what it says now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So to be the Blanco is around $50.
Right.
The Reposado is around $75. I mean, whatever your exact prices are. I don't know. And then the Añejo is the 90 and above.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. Wait till you get to that.
Okay.
I mean, the Blanco is any indication we're in for a really fun Bar Cart Friday, brought to you by Keg and Bottle, 10 locations around San Diego. We got to hit top shelf here, which is our top stories of the day going into this NFL weekend. You look at the NFC, AFC, there's 2 standouts. I mean, it's very clear which games we need to focus on this weekend. It's the Chiefs Bills on the AFC side. On the NFC side, it's Eagles Cowboys. I mean, these are standalone important games right at the tippy top of the docket. Where do you guys want to start, AFC or NFC?
Let's start AFC because that's going to be the late window game. So that'll kick us off around 1:25 our time. And I do think that what Jared Smith brought up in our little betting interview we did is that this Sean McDermott thing is going to have an impact on this game. And I do think it will. The amount of distraction going around this week, not just his head, but his players' heads, guys who were in that meeting where he brought up 9/11 for some reason.
Yeah, 2 years ago during training camp. Bizarre.
Just bizarre storyline coming out of the NFL this week. And then in Sean McDermott's head, I mean, I've never been canceled before. I hope not to be. But imagine going in your mind the entire week while you're game planning a game.
It's insane. It's insane. By the way, the Chiefs, they've kind of got to come out and prove it, right? I mean, they've got to do some get-right stuff here. I know the Bills are fighting for their life, but the Chiefs are fighting for a namesake at the moment. I mean, all of a sudden, the dynasty looks like it's quivering. They're up against the ropes this season somehow, some way. But I feel like the Chiefs take this one. I'm going Chiefs.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs here as well. Look, the Bills, even though, look, I don't see any problems with Josh Allen outside of him needing to be more careful with the football. But I agree with what Fletch said about distractions. That can weigh heavy on the minds of coaches and players heading into this one. The Bills off the bye probably felt pretty good. But the Chiefs, look, that's a lot to prove after that loss to the Packers in prime time. Like, that's an embarrassment. They should have beaten the Packers, even though it's a road game. They get to come back home and host the Bills at Arrowhead. So, yeah, I do like the Chiefs in this one.
Okay, and Mahomes off a loss.
Tequila Joe.
Amazing.
Tequila Joe, who do you like? Bills, Chiefs?
You know, like you said, Chiefs got to prove themselves.
Yeah.
I'm still happy that the Lions beat them on opening game.
Yes.
You can take that one to the bank.
But you know, the Bills, I was listening to you guys this morning, that McDermott thing, like, what?
Wacky.
What is he thinking?
Nuts.
Yeah.
But if I have to take somebody, I'm taking the Bills.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
What about
All
you,
right.
Tony? What you like? Chiefs? You like the Bills?
I gotta go Chiefs.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
That storyline is bonkers. All right, let's move on to the NFC side. We got the Cowboys, the Eagles. Okay, the Eagles smarting a little bit here. The Cowboys starting to surge. Where are you guys on this one?
Let's talk about how important this game is, first of all. If the Eagles lose this game, they are now tied with the Cowboys and the 49ers for that first place spot. And the Niners have the tiebreaker over both of them. So you're playing this week for a bye week. That's what you have to think about here if you're the Eagles.
Right.
And not to mention, like, the Eagles need to prove themselves as well, just like the Chiefs. Like, we talk about the two teams that were in the Super Bowl last year, both of whom look so vulnerable so far this year. And the Eagles haven't necessarily been playing good football all year. They've just been playing winning football all year. Cowboys, on the other hand, have a legitimate MVP shot with Dak Prescott this year. They have a lot to prove after just beating bad teams all season. They need to get a big signature win under their belt.
Yeah. So again, just like the Chiefs, I agree with you, Fletch. The Eagles kind of a prove it week for them. However, going up against the Cowboys, I don't think they're going to be able to prove it. And I think for the first time in my life, I'm going to say it's going to be because of Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is going to step. I know. I'm feeling the same way, Tequila Joe. I don't know how this is happening to me. But Dak Prescott has been lights out. The guy's been on fire. I don't think it stops. I think it continues here. And they put up some points on the Eagles, and the Eagles just cannot answer.
Yeah, look, in the first game of November, the Eagles took 2-game division lead with their 28-23 victory over the Cowboys. And we were talking about this game too with Jared Smith, and he mentioned, like, the Cowboys had every opportunity to win that game, and it's on the road. Look, I am not a fan of clutch Dak. I don't think that you should really stake much. This is a stay away game for me in terms of a betting standpoint, but I like the Cowboys at home. They've been great this season at home.
And it's now 4 games in a row the Eagles have gone into the second half trailing. So if it's a big enough lead for the Cowboys here going into the second half, the Eagles just might not be able to catch up.
I'm saying take the over on this one.
Actually,
I'm a betting man.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Game's indoor, right? You don't have to worry about weather at all. It's in Dallas. I mean, it's going to be
51.5.
It's 51.5. That's a high.
That is high.
They're
That's a high
begging you to
NFL
take
over.
the under, though. That's why you take the over.
That's a good point. Tequila Joe, you're all over
Tequila
it.
Joe knows what's up. Hey, do I have to do any more reading today?
No, you're clear.
I've just been sipping. I've been sipping.
No, you're clear.
I've been sipping on tequila corrido.
Pour him a shot.
You're,
Pour him a shot. He's starting to think too much.
you go for lunch. We're going to hit halftime in just a few, but Tony Khan's just whipping something up over there. Now, what's next? Are we going to have a cocktail, Tony?
I'm thinking we do a cocktail, and then the little skinny girl.
Oh, yeah.
Margarita.
The skinny margarita coming up.
Skinny margarita. So that's what's coming up for you guys. And putting some good stuff in here for you. So
some
I
ice
think you
straight
got to
from
try the
Keg and Bottle.
Repo and Añejo neat still, though.
Yeah,
And then try the
we're
cocktail.
gonna try it. We're gonna try it all.
No question
Tequila
about
Joe.
it. No question about
Come
it.
on. $60, by the way, online if you'd like to pick up some of this Blanco tequila corrido.
And I think we have a weekend discount going.
Oh, right on.
So we'll start with 2 different San Diego State stories. First one, Aztecs football coach Sean Lewis. He was up at midnight last night tweeting, and he was up again this morning at 6:30 tweeting, all about recruiting and them hitting the road. Last night was a great night. They got a new tackle in San Diego State, actually. So Sean Lewis, the motivation for all of his coaches and all commits to San Diego State to put everything out on social media, I think is a great thing for this program. They are moving into this generation. Aztecs Hoops tomorrow night, Viejas Arena. Pregame coverage will get underway at 6:30 at San Diego State and UC Irvine. Stupid Peter the Anteater with your muscles. Tip-off is going to be at 7:30.
Tiger Woods ripped.
Dude,
Tickets available at goaztecs.com. And speaking of Tiger Woods, TD passed along a photo the other day. My God.
Yeah, he's huge.
Dude looks like a WWE wrestler.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods looks like he is going to abandon golf for like a bid at Mr. Universe.
He has veins just popping out.
It's really,
Well-
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Tiger, and I really do. I've always followed his career, even when there was all the issue with, the wife and all. I mean, look, for me, it was really like, was I following Tiger's career because I thought he was a great guy or a great golfer? Like that's his personal business.
Artist, keep him separate.
Yeah, in that case, I can. In that case, I can. And I'm not saying I support any of what he was up to, but in that case, I can. The crazy thing is, though, I mean, is he going to be able to play golf with all the muscles? Is it possible that that's even going to?
You tell Tiger Woods he can't.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay.
Saleswoman extraordinaire Jillian came in studio, and she's holding a coffee mug that says "Be kind." From across the room, I thought it said "No kids," and I was like, "Right on, we're about to party."
You got to dump a little bit of this tequila corrido blanco in there. Yeah. Fill up the cup, Jillian.
Well, Joe, can we get into your career in radio? Because I think I heard something about Barry Sanders. Was it out in Detroit?
Yeah, the bye Barry Sanders, bye Barry was all wrong. He left just because the last year he was there, I was in the radio. I was working for CBS selling advertising for the Lions.
Oh wow,
it was a great year. Was on the sidelines. We had a sweet, entertaining customers. You guys know the deal. And then I left and went on to rock and roll radio, and then Barry quit. And so nobody knows the real story. That's what it was.
It was because you left and he was just heartbroken.
He's just like, well, Joe, I mean, what are we doing?
He was like, you guys don't know this, but a guy who soon will be known as Tequila Joe left CBS, and I am heartbroken. That's hysterical. So it's like kind of asking somebody to pick their favorite child, but is there a favorite? Tequila Corrido, the Repo, the Blanco, the Añejo that you enjoy drinking the most?
So my first love was bourbon, if I got to tell the truth.
Okay, yeah.
And a lot, tequila's become so much more sophisticated than it used to be. Añejo is aged just like whiskey is, or bourbon, or scotch, or any brown liquor. So my personal favorite is our Añejo. That was the first one. My go-to is, and of course you have to have a good Blanco, as you mentioned earlier. You have to have a good Blanco, or you're not going to have a good. I mean, you can mask a terrible Blanco with aging and things like that for the Repo and Añejo. So the Añejo is incredible. The aging process there, our aging process is unique. From almost all tequila is just used bourbon barrels.
Yeah.
For the Repo and Añejo, or Reposado. I'm saying Repo.
Yeah.
So our Reposado and Añejo are aged in barrels that have three different. Barrels are made of oak staves. Each piece of wood is called a stave. And so our barrels are called symphony barrels. One of the barrels we use is a symphony barrel, where each stave is a different type of American oak. Minnesota, Missouri, and Kentucky oak. So, and corrido means ballad in Spanish. So corrido is all about music and telling a story through your corrido. And as smugglers were bringing tequila across the border during Prohibition, they were singing their corrido. And just like military cadence, it was military. So, singing a cadence, or anytime you've seen a movie with a chain gang or military and they're singing their song, those are all singing corridos. So that's what the song Tequila Corrido is all about.
Okay.
Wow,
all right.
Come on here. What are you doing out in Michigan? You should be here in San Diego.
So I lived
Tequila Joe.
I lived in California I had a place in California. I always kept my house in Michigan.
Yeah.
But I had a place in California when I was running a different tequila company. So I lived in Santa Monica, or I had a place in Santa Monica for a while. And we sold that. Like I said, I was floating around, then I tasted Tequila Corrido, and that's the reason I'm here. Really, is how good the liquid is.
On the top of every bottle, there's a little leather strap wrapped around it with a guitar pick on there, Tequila Corrido printed on the guitar pick, which is the song, the ballad.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Amazing.
cool, man.
Okay, we're going to be moving on to barrel picks coming up in just a little bit, but we got to sip on this skinny margarita that Tony Kanja Keg and Bottle
This is beautiful,
has
Tony.
put together for us a little Tajin rim. What did you put in this sucker?
So, we use the Carrillo Blanco as the base. We topped it off with 4 ounces of Topo Chico, so sparkling water, fresh lime that we cut up, some agave syrup, and a little tahini rim
Oh my
to
gosh.
make it right.
All right.
I'm pumped.
Let's take a little sip.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that's a sipper. That's a sipper all day long.
Dude, I'm going back for a second.
I love
Yeah,
tahini.
yeah.
So little fact you might not know about
Wow.
tequila. It's the only upper of the alcohol family, and everything else is a downer. I'm not going to say it's healthy for you, but it's healthier.
Yeah.
So when you get a
Wow.
good clean tequila made the right way like ours, and it's not a mixto too. The difference between a mixto, which is only 51% agave, and 100% agave, we're of course 100% agave.
Yeah.
But when you have a good clean one, it's just refreshing, like what this is. So I
Right.
thought this would be a good for radio. And this is a very big trend right now, especially with the female demographic, a skinny margarita. But I got to admit, I drink them too. I mean, hey, everybody's watching their weight, and especially we got January coming up. Everybody's going to be dieting, so I thought it'd be a good talk.
This, but also it tastes delicious.
And there
you
I
go.
mean, there's that.
And also, like, what I love about, and this may sound weird because I know there's a lot of times where you want a drink to be more spirit forward, but a margarita or a poolside drink, I just want it to taste like summer. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like, I want to taste the juice. I don't necessarily want to taste the spirit. And this is hidden. Like the Blanco melds perfectly everything that the lime juice and all of the simple syrup and the tahini rim, like it blends perfectly with the Blanco here. This is really good stuff. Joe, we're thrilled to have you in. Tequila Joe with Tequila Corrido is in studio with us live on a Bar Cart Friday, brought to you by Keg and Bottle, 10 locations around San Diego. We're going to get to our barrel picks on the other side here, but first I got to talk to you about Toyota, your San Diego County Toyota dealers. As a matter of fact, 2 out of 3 hosts on this show drive Toyotas, okay? I mean, that'll put you in baseball's Hall of Fame. That's 66% hidden right there. That's pretty good. We got a Tacoma, the Tacoma that Fletch drives around in.
Love my taco ma.
He does. I got the 4Runner. These things run like tanks. You put a little gas in them, a little oil. They're the most reliable automobiles you could buy. So if you're dealing with breakdowns, if you have a car that's sort of just lurching out of the driveway every morning and you're nervous whether or not you're going to make it to work, you keep questioning whether or not you should go on that long trip because is the car going to make it? I've been there. It stinks. Nobody wants it. Buy a reliable car at your San Diego County Toyota dealer. Not just cars. They also have the latest offers on trucks like Fletch drives, on SUVs like I drive. They make it easy. So if you're looking for a great deal on a new Toyota, make sure to head over to toyota.com. There you can check out all of those offers I was talking about, compare model, search inventory. Finding the Toyota that's just right for you starts at toyota.com. Go check that out. Coming up next.
Dude, 3 of 4 hosts on this show drive a Toyota.
Oh
Tony
my gosh,
Conjit.
that's right.
Wow.
He's got the Tundra. He's rocking.
Just a little Tundra with 240,000 miles. No big deal.
That thing's see, that's
a
what I'm
beast.
talking about. These Toyotas are tanks. Get yourself in one today. Coming up next, we're going to get back to a Bar Cart Friday.
Hey, it's Fletch, and we have 2 minutes left in this commercial break. So here's what I want you to do. Exit out of that Excel spreadsheet, get rid of Salesforce, whatever it is you're using right now, and log on to prizepicks.com. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Prizepicks.com/Fletch. They will give you a first deposit match up to $100. You could do it in the 2-minute commercial break that we have going on right now. Look, guys, there was a 15 punts in a professional football game last night. What that tells me is it was an unwatchable football game. Not for me, though. Prizepicks.com/Fletch. Download the PrizePicks app. Use promo code Fletch. PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100. A game with 15 punts in it. It's incredible for me last night because I was sweating out my $20 entry on PrizePicks. I had 6 players going. This would have won me $400, but of course, Deontay Johnson catches a screen pass in the fourth quarter that ruins it for me, but that's not the point. The point is I was heavily entertained by a bad football game, and it's because I was locked in on my PrizePicks entry. Again, prizepicks.com/Fletch. Get yourself a first deposit match up to $100. All you got to do is open up the website or the easy-to-use mobile app, select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry today. Super easy. If you have the skills, you could turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. It's the #1 daily fantasy platform in the continent for a reason, and that is because it is the most fun. It'll make everything a little more entertaining by putting your skills to the test, creating an entry, and get paid today. PrizePicks.com, promo code Fletch. That's PrizePicks.com, promo code Fletch. Get your first deposit matched up to $100. If you haven't gotten it done yet, get on over to PrizePicks.com, promo code Fletch. This update is presented by Staples Stores. Thursday Night Football last night gave us an upset with the Patriots taking down the Steelers 21-18 in a game that saw 15 punts. Week 14 continues this Sunday. Big matchup, Rams-Ravens early, Broncos-Chargers, Chiefs-Bills in the late window, and then Sunday Night Football, we got the Eagles and the Cowboys. In the NBA, Lakers win big last night, 133-89 in the semifinals of the in-season tournament. Championship of the in-season tournament will be tomorrow at 5:30 against the Pacers. And in college hoops, Aztecs returning home tomorrow night to take on UC Irvine at Viejas Arena. Pre-game coverage gets going at 6:30 from just outside Viejas Arena. Tip-off at 7:30. Tickets are still available, but going fast at goaztecs.com. Staples Holiday Deals means amazing savings for the holiday season on hot tech like laptops, game systems, earbuds, and more. Right now, save up to $350 on select PCs. In-store only. Offer ends 12/23. See an associate for details. Have yourself a merry little holiday deal at Staples.
Thank God it's Friday!
It's been a long week and the fellas are thirsty.
So good! Once it hits your lips, so good!
It's time to cruise into the weekend. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch present Bar Card Friday. Brought to you by Keg and Bottle.
Yeah, it is. Also, join San Diego Sports 760, SeaWorld, and Sesame Place to support Rady Children's Hospital this holiday season. Next Wednesday, December 13th, and Thursday, December 14th, you will hear stories of hope and healing from Rady Children's patients and families during the iHeart Rady Children's Give-a-thon. And speaking of giving, we do have a family 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld San Diego's Christmas celebration that we got to give out here, and I would be listening this segment.
And speaking of giving, TD, have you downloaded the PrizePicks app yet?
I have not downloaded it yet, and I need to.
Promo code Fletch. Come on, get on it. Support your boy.
So, okay, hold on. Just because I haven't downloaded it, it's mostly because I can't figure out what my password is. I got a new phone and now everything's messed up and I can't download anything. I tried.
Last night, I was texting you and Rich, but I had that 6-player entry going, and Deontay Johnson on the last drive of the game ruined it for me. It's about to be a $400 win.
Yeah, I saw that. I like how you wrote, I know no one cares, but I just lost $360.
Now I want to share that with our listeners as well.
It's a bad beat.
It was a bad beat. We got barrel picks coming up here in just a few minutes, but it is a Bar Cart Friday brought to you by Keg and Bottle, 10 locations all throughout San Diego County. We got Tony Kanja in here mixing up drinks. We got Tequila Joe with Tequila Corrido sitting here right off to our left. We got a skinny margarita in my hand. I've also got another. Is this the Reposado?
Someone give him a shot.
Listen.
Hey, buddy.
I'm not gonna lie here. Before Bar Cart Fridays, I didn't know that there was different names for tequila. I thought it was like there's tequila and then there's like gold tequila. But now I feel so elevated.
Yeah,
Tequila
that's
Joe.
a good point. A lot of
Right?
people still think that.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you go back to Michigan or Ohio, and they see Reposado, they're like, what?
No, it's true. I mean, like,
No, no.
and it's on the coast too. I mean, here in Southern California, have a lot more education because we're so close to Mexico. But even back home in New York, where I grew up, holy smokes, people have no idea how diverse tequila is and what it's become. It's like you said, it's one of those spirits that it doesn't make you feel the same way, if it's possible, that other spirits do. It has completely different interaction with your body.
As long as you don't add a bunch of sugar. That's why the skinny margaritas, when you add, just constant sugar, or if you drink a mix though. And that's also the Anna Maria Romero.
Yeah.
Anna Maria Romero, who I mentioned, is our master distiller. She invented the flavor wheel, and she has aroma boxes, just like scotches do and wines. They all do this, what do you smell? And she's brought sophistication to the tequila world, and she's the leader. She really is the leader of it. So
I love it.
it's great to have her.
And I love that education, right? I mean, I think all three of us, we're just curious guys. And so when you have something you've really never learned about and it's something fun like drinking, I mean, that's education. All right, cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Gotta
All
try
right.
this Reposado.
So the
cheers,
Reposado, while you're drinking it, it's 3 months aged in American oak, and then it is aged 5 more months in 3 different barrels and then blended.
Holy
And
smokes.
for a fact here, Reposado means rested. So Reposado is a lightly rested tequila in oak barrels, while Añejo means aged. So Añejo is aged a lot longer, whereas Reposado is rested for a short time. It's only required to be rested 3 months in oak barrels.
Yeah.
In barrels, whereas ours is 8 months.
Okay.
And it's a blend of 3 different types of barrels.
This is pushing a $100 bottle, $85 bottle of tequila. However, right now online you can get it for $70 at Keg and Bottle. So jump online, go to kegandbottle.com, pick up a bottle, because I promise you pour a little glass of this when the friends and family come over. Woo! Next level. This is next level stuff,
And you
Tequila
see the
Joe.
smooth. I mean, I had several accounts. I was out and about, slinging booze all week here in San Diego, and people are saying several people said this is the best Reposado they've ever had.
Well, so, okay, call me out if this is ridiculous, but like, it's very, I know you don't add any sugar. You talked about no additives. You guys do it the old fashioned way, but this is almost like honey to me. Like, it's almost like got a mead quality to me. It's like, it's unbelievable.
So there's
There's like a
barrels
sweetness.
are caramelized.
Yeah.
That's why bourbon is sweeter than whiskey, even though it's aged. So bourbon has to be in brand new bourbon. These are in bourbon barrels.
Yeah.
It's aged, so some of that caramelization from the oak, it comes off in this, but also it's made from agave,
Yeah.
which is sugar. I mean, all alcohol is essentially made from sugar, turns into carbohydrates, and gets together with yeast and makes alcohol.
Yeah.
And so that's where you're getting the sweetness from.
It's so good.
Speaking of barrels, let's get to our barrel pick here. Brought to you by Keg and Bottle. Our picks of the week on some of these games. What are you guys feeling that? You good?
Yeah. Let's do it. All right. Each one of us is going to give you our pick of the week. So Fletch is going to give you one. TD is going to give you one. Big Rich is going to give you one. And I have no idea if at the end of the season we're going to accumulate how we did on barrel picks and put something else on it. We already have our season-long NFL over-unders in terms of win totals going.
TD's in trouble.
I don't like the sound of that. I
Travis
don't like the
Dale
sound of that.
Maybe doing the one chip challenge that actually killed a guy.
I won't survive.
Yeah, we're really nervous for your health. We
don't seem to be.
We all got to pick a game though. So whoever's ready to go first, I got mine.
I got mine.
You got yours?
I got mine.
Okay.
I'll just let it rip. So the Chicago Bears are hosting the Detroit Lions this weekend. And I don't know which way Tequila Joe wants this game to go.
I think I do.
But
Man,
I'm just
he's
going to
from
say
Detroit.
the
you
Lions
kidding
are
me?
going to smack the crap out of the Bears.
Wow.
In this one.
Rock and roll, brother.
In Chicago, the Lions are going to win by much more than 3 points. This may be a 21, 28-point game by the end of it.
Okay.
Lions
You're not just
with a
saying that
bullet.
because I'm here, right? Because that was my pick already.
What-
I mean, come on.
I honestly didn't know if you were a Bears fan or a Lions fan. I'm glad I got it right.
Well, he's from Detroit.
Detroit.
Of course he's
Detroit.
a Lions
Yeah,
fan.
no.
Brent's from Wisconsin and he hates the Packers.
That's a good point. But Brent,
Yeah.
I mean, I have questions about Brent. I have
Yeah.
so many questions about Brent. He's one of the most interesting human beings I ever met. This, of course, is the producer of John and Jim, 3 to 6 p.m. with two deplorable human beings, John and Jim.
And also,
I mean,
Detroit and Chicago are like right next to each other, right?
Yeah.
On the map.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
yeah.
I'm actually from like Detroit, like right north of the border, right where Eminem grew up.
Oh yeah, 8 miles.
About 7
Uh,
miles. I'm on 15 miles.
wait.
He was 8 miles.
Wait, did you
Literally 7 miles.
did you rap battle Eminem?
Absolutely not.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
well,
well, that's that. We were wrong.
so you want to hear something crazy? Yeah, we wrote that on our bio. We'll scribble it out. So we actually had this conversation just about 15 minutes ago, and Tequila Joe gave me my best bet of the week. So I really want to get some steam on this Eagles Cowboys game, but I don't like a side in it. But I do love the over. I think you're 100%.
Wait up.
I do think you're 100% on of it.
We're not allowed to just pick over under.
What are you talking
It's
about?
best pick. You got to pick a team.
We don't have to pick sides. You can pick over unders.
Wait, are we just looking at the easy picks here? Is that what you're looking at?
I'm
by the
looking
way,
to make our listeners money. What are you guys trying to do? You trying to lose some money? Come on, Flash.
You're trying to lose the money.
I said, this is your double wood-fired pizza pick.
What's the Giants' new quarterback's name? Is it Tommy DeVito?
Tommy DeVito, dude.
That's. I'm so out on
Mama
him.
with
I'm
the
so
chicken
over it
cutlet.
already.
You
Listen.
never talk bad about Tommy DeVito.
Go eat a fig, Tommy.
It's an Italian thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Figs, we
Yeah,
found
you're-
out.
you're Italian. You're Italian, Tequila Joe. Do you guys eat a lot of figs at your house?
We don't eat a lot of figs. It
What?
wasn't on my side of it. My Italian family didn't eat figs. A lot of pasta, a lot of homemade sauce.
Have you heard of Italians eating figs?
I have.
Oh,
So
all
my
right.
grandmother,
Italian thing, bro.
It's
Rose
different regions.
Ruggiero. Rose Ruggiero. She made eggplant parmesan. She made homemade sauce. She had no figs. And so Fletch comes in one day. He was like, my grandma, she had a fig tree. We all ate fig pizza. And I'm just like, Fletch, what are you talking about? He's like, it's an Italian thing. I'm like, no, it is not. Well, we go online. And unless Google is lying to us,
And like 20 other people.
and also 20 other people who took Fletch's side in this, apparently figs are an Italian thing. And I had no idea my entire life.
Did I make you guys like the best grilled cheese sandwich ever? And did it have fig in it?
It did.
Yep.
Thank you.
Wow.
It was the
Wow.
best I ever had.
It's a
I
thing. It's just a
stand by
regional
that.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
TD, what's your barrel pick?
Broncos, Chargers. Broncos are getting 2.5 here. They ain't gonna need it. They ain't gonna need it. They ain't gonna need it.
Really?
They're gonna win by an entire field goal.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Also,
the Broncos.
Everyone in studio right now, we did
I
that season-long pick
disagree.
that we were talking about. TD's the only person that took the under on the Broncos.
No.
And he's a diehard Broncos fan, and he's going to be wrong.
You're
All right,
insane.
CD. I'm
Yeah.
going to give you a run for your money.
Okay.
Okay, let's hear it.
You're wrong.
What, are you taking the Chargers?
I got to take the Chargers.
Whoa! Tony got
And-
off the top rope,
Yes, sir.
off the
And-
turnbuckle.
Everyone's talking about, they can never win over 3. They will win more than 3.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I'll give you 3.5.
Okay. 3.5. Done.
Oh my
Done.
God.
What are we putting on this, Tony?
It's a duel. You guys
Yeah.
are going to fight with swords.
What about a bottle?
Well, we're talking about barrel picks, so we'll give you a real barrel pick.
Oh my God.
There we go. But then wait,
it.
if I lose though, what do I have to give you? A barrel?
You have to work behind
Yeah.
bar on New Year's Eve.
You've got to work the bar. I love that.
In one of Jay Kennedy's Speedos.
Yes.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Please.
You want
And-
a risky barrel
Tony,
pick?
yeah, Tony's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to lose money.
How about a parlay?
Okay. What?
Detroit and your over.
Oh,
Your
I
Dallas
like
Philly
that.
over.
So a side and the over. Look, I love
God.
this so much.
So
Joe,
Detroit -3 on the road in Chicago, plus over 51.5 in the Eagles Cowboys game.
Yep.
Like I said, they're begging you to take the under.
Lose.
They're begging you. You're absolutely right.
Shotgun champion Rich will shotgun a bottle of tequila corrido.
Barrel a hole.
Hey, at least it's smooth. I mean, if you lose, it's not really losing.
You know, and if this is my last show, that's okay.
Yeah.
Listen, we joke a lot. We have a lot of fun on this show, but seriously, we all had a little bit of a weight problem. A couple of months ago, I was at the heaviest I'd ever been since my playing days. Fletch was up there, the heaviest he had ever been. We brought a scale in studio. TD, he was the heaviest he had ever been.
Yeah.
So the three of us were some
Fatty boom baddies.
just some big old
Guys, I
fatzos.
was 278 pounds.
I don't know how that's really possible.
It's outrageous. You saw the scale.
You know what? For Fletch, it was all face. It was like, I mean, he lost so much weight in his face.
He had his face, and it was really belly forward.
SDFatLoss.com is how we lost the weight. So as a show, we've lost close to 120 pounds. As a show, that's a human being. I believe that's one Lucinda from Kogo News.
That is correct. That is correct.
I mean, it's absurd how much weight we lost. So what occurred was we got on the phone with Wayne and Chloe, our weight loss team. They spoke to us individually, but they said, hey, look, rely on each other to keep each other in check. And it was great for us because we would group text about our weight loss. We would stay on top of it. After 2 weeks, I think as a show, we were down 60 pounds or damn near 60 pounds. I remember it was insane how
And
much
what's
weight
2
we
weeks
lost.
from right now, Richie?
It's Christmas holidays, right? So if you want to impress your family members, go to sdfatloss.com. Plus, when you go right now, you're going to save $200 on their program. So it's perfect timing for the holidays. And even if you do want to wait till January 1st, you want to get in the gym like everybody else does with their New Year's resolutions, you still save that $200 if you sign up right now with sdfatloss.com. We've had great success with it. We're losing weight. We're still we lost weight. We're still losing a ton of weight. So sign up today, sdfatloss.com. More on a Bar Cart Friday brought to you by Keg and Bottle coming up next. It's a Bar Cart Friday brought to you by Keg and Bottle. 10 locations around San Diego. Tequila Corrido in studio live with us. We wrap up the show next with Bottom of the Barrel and a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld.
It's time to cruise into the weekend. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch present Bar Card Friday. Brought to you by Keg and Bottle.
You're damn right. And we got Tequila Corrido in studio. We got members of our Kogo news team, John Fink, Lucinda in studio as well. And of course, Tequila Joe, who has really walked us through one of the finest tastings we've ever done here. So we normally do bottom of the barrel, brought to you by Keg and Bottle here on a Friday, but we're going to probably skip it because we still have 2 sippers to take down here.
That's right.
We got the Añejo from Tequila Corrido. We also have the Añejo Old Fashioned. What should we start with, Tequila Joe? You want to do the neat Añejo first?
Neat,
Okay.
yeah, neat
So,
first.
you know, you've got to do the nose. Put your nose right in the glass.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You know, in a wider glass, you can even do 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock. You can get different aromas.
No
But
kidding.
Really?
with this type of a snifter, you just get your nose right in there. And it's just beautiful. You
it
smell
smells perfect.
agave, you smell oak. It's just, so let me tell you, let me
Got a
blow
hell
your
of a
mind a
nose,
little
is
bit.
what I say.
This is the only
Overdose.
tequila I know in the world that does this. We do our barrel aging in those symphony barrels and Hungarian oak and Missouri oak. We blend it, and this is aged for 12 months.
Yeah.
That's the only requirement for Añejo is 12 months. Then you're done. Well, we take an additional step, and we age this for 6 months in Mexican Merlot wine barrels. And what's the first
Wow.
question you ask? Mexico makes Merlot wine?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Nobody
Merlot
even
grapes,
knows it.
yeah.
Merlot wine, actual wine. We take the barrels that Merlot wine is aged in. Then we age our tequila after 12 months and age it 6 more months in wine barrels, Mexican Merlot wine barrels.
Holy
What's
smokes.
what's the
Look at the
alcohol
darkness.
content?
Look at it's 80.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. It's got nice legs.
But
I
look
mean,
at,
I know
look
I'm-
at how dark it is. That I believe it's a little darker than most Añejos.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful color.
It really is.
Oh
It-
my gosh.
and I
Let's go
think
in
that's
for the
6 months
taste.
extra. So yeah, let's rock.
Wow.
That is so good.
Okay, that's my favorite.
That is my
Oh,
favorite.
me
That
too,
is my
by far.
favorite
Hey,
ever.
holy gosh.
Ever.
That one just knocked
So I'm
my
not
socks
kidding.
off.
People say that it's the best I've ever had. Across the country, Nashville, can't get in. I mean, cities, Phoenix, Best ever.
Dude, I'm telling you. I mean, pour this. Just if somebody comes over and you're doing a little celebrating, head on over to Keg and Bottle, pick up a bottle of this, pour some for your friends, your family. I mean, this is a treat.
Dude, so Tequila Corrido is the brand. The Blanco is delicious. The Reposado was amazing as well. But this Añejo is knocking our socks off. And if you go to keggandbottle.com and you want to buy any of these, the Reposado, the Blanco, or the Añejo, use Sport760. That's the promo code. You can save all sorts of money on your purchase. And I mean, don't wait. Like if you're on your way to the office today and you're thinking like, what are we drinking this weekend? Get to keggandbottle.com, Sport760.
I'll also say to the listener who a couple weeks ago asked me to put together a bar cart for him, add this one to it.
Yeah, absolutely,
there you
absolutely. Make this one your tequila right here. Now, Tony, you have mixed up a little old fashioned.
Jake Kennedy style. So in here, guys, we've got the bitters. We added orange bitters, which Tequila Joe said let's add some orange in there. We did the zest of the orange peel, the nice cherry on top. A little agave, a little splash of agave in there to add a little sweetener.
Smells so good.
Bottoms up.
Okay.
All right,
Tequila old
bottoms up.
fashions are taking over, by
Hey,
the way.
Yeah, the
Cheers,
Añejo.
cheers,
Yeah.
Tequila Joe.
Hey,
Yeah,
Specifically
Give me that
Añejo.
yeah.
Wow.
You got
John
one?
Fink.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, no
Send a
problem. Empty
keg,
glass.
Tony. There it
Tony
is.
Kanja, Keg and Bottle. You played bartender today? This is incredible.
Yeah, great job, Tony. This
What we do.
Oh,
How do you like that?
my
really, really
goodness.
good.
This is mind-blowingly
This-
good.
Yep.
This is the drink now.
This
Tell
is
Jay
the
he's
drink.
fired.
Yeah,
So this
no
is
doubt.
happening all over. I was in Nashville just pretty recently. We're doing a lot there. I walk into a bar and these three guys sit down next to me. I just got done doing a tasting with all the bartenders. She goes, "Let me blow your mind right now." And she starts making añejo old fashions. She goes, "These guys come in every Thursday. Only me, this bartender, making añejo old fashions because it's a thing now." She goes, "But this is the only tequila I'm ever going to use again." And I'm like, "This is really?" So I got him shirts.
Yeah. The whole nine.
Like,
No, I mean,
Wow.
Tequila Joe, we've had a lot of people come through here, and obviously the education you gave all of us was fantastic. But this is one of the top products we've ever tasted.
Tony,
Thank you so much.
We got a
thank
question
you.
from the text line for Tony and Tequila Joe. You guys talked me into it. I'm driving to Keg and Bottle right now. Got to get it. Any discounts, Tony?
yeah, so we'll do the same thing. The San Diego Sport 760, and we'll do it. Del Cerro has it right now. The SDSU location has it on College and El Cajon Boulevard. Go to either one of those two. It's in stock.
Right on.
and thank you, Mr. Customer or Mrs. whoever it is.
Yeah.
That's our
Text
guy
our
out of the
listener.
913.
Oh, yeah. That's our dude.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Right on.
Hey, listen, I don't know. I don't really know how to quantify how thankful I am to be drinking an Añejo old fashioned
Come
at
on.
9 a.m. But I'm finishing this one. I can tell you that much.
Yep, no doubt. No doubt. It's going to be a hell of a weekend. Who do we think?
Thank you to everybody here in studio, especially our guy Tony Kanja, especially Tequila Joe. Thank you to Jared Smith, who was on the show a little bit earlier doing some betting lines. If you missed anything, it's all up on the free iHeartRadio app. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, TD. Thank you to everybody who comes by and gives me a fist bump tomorrow at the Aztecs game.
All right.
Yeah.
So get out to Keg and Bottle all weekend long. Del Cerro, San Diego State University on El Cajon Boulevard. They got Tequila Corrido coming up next. We got the herd.
Live on TikTok right now at Big Rich TD Fletch.